Adjust the camera here a little bit. That's better. All right. All right, so hope everybody's having a good night. I haven't done a live video like this in quite some time. But what we're going to do, long story short, I've got my Black Label Strat right here. This is the 94 Squier series. And I never play it, even though it is my best sounding and best playing guitar Strat that I have. But I don't like the way it looks. Call me stupid, but I do not like the way this looks. I don't like this pearloid pickguard on here. I don't like these white pickup covers. I just don't like it at all. There's also like Sharpie marks on these covers, and this isn't stock anyway. Whoever had this guitar before me bought this pickguard and put it on here. So I decided that I wanted to customize it, and so I went to my local shop and I said, hey guys, I want a black pickguard with black pickup covers and black knobs and stuff like that, because I need to change the way my Strat looks. And the owner said, no, I'm not selling you that. I'm selling you this. He pulls out this pickguard. Check it out. So this pickguard is actually a Fender custom shop pickguard. And it's metal. It's got this black splatter on it. And the cool part is, look what it says. 1994. And this is a 1994. So it's meant to be. These obviously didn't come with it. He gave me these. So we're going to install that today. But that's not all. I've also got some knobs that I've been eyeing for a while. He said that these knobs had been in the shop for years. But here you go. It's a little pirate. Silver on the side, kind of a goldish color on the top. I thought that these knobs looked pretty sweet when you pair it with this pickguard, honestly. I think that looks pretty good. He gave me these also. These are just some switch tips that would match the aesthetic as well. I've got this bridge. This is a gold Mexican bridge with a big fat brass block. You might recognize this. I actually pulled this out of the Stratocaster. It's sitting off camera. I am going to order a new bridge to put on the Stratocaster to replace this. And then I've got the gold cover. Now I'm going to do something unconventional that I've decided I like. So I saw this post on Facebook. They were making fun of a guy because he built a Stratocaster, and when he installed the switch cover, he put the switch cover on like this, so that the jack was like raised up, like this. So normally it's like this, and you plug it in. He had it installed like this with the jack pointing up like that, and they were all making fun of him, and I actually liked that. Because it keeps your cable up out of the way, and it makes it easier to use a right angle plug on your guitar. I always prefer to have the jack on the side of the guitar, like on a Les Paul or a Tele anyway. And this kind of helps you achieve that without having to drill a hole. So I'm going to install this like this because it adds a little bit of function. It looks kind of funky. It's different. I don't know. I like it. So yeah, the whole thing together, if I can manage to do this without knocking anything over, something like this. You know, I think that's going to give it some spunk, and it'll make me way more likely to pick it up, way more likely to gig it. It's definitely giggable as it is, right? It's a great guitar. It's my best Strat. I own 3 Fender Strats, and one of them is an original 80s HM Strat. Mine was made in the USA, and this guitar sounds better than that one, which is completely bonkers and nuts to say, but it does. So, I'm going to give it its due. What do I say on this channel all the time? It's not about how good a guitar is, it's about whether the guitar inspires you to play well. And this guitar does not inspire me to play well the way it looks now, so that's why we're going to do these customizations. Gatorade. Alright. See if I missed any chats here. There we go. Conversation starter, peak 80s, 90s. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's going to do its job. Alright, so let me get these knobs out of the way here. This is going to be weird, because I'm used to, when I make videos like this, I'm used to cutting, you know, like, so I would do the part I just did and talk about it, and then I would cut and move to the next thing. But this is all going to be live. So, hey, how's it going? Thanks for joining. This is an interesting first live for you to join, because I never do this. I never do this. Stuff on the bench live. Never, never, ever. But you know what? I had some time tonight. My gig tomorrow got canceled. All I've got going on tomorrow is I'm teaching like 7 guitar lessons. So I figured, might as well get this job done tonight. And instead of filming it like I would for a normal video, I'll just do it live. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the strings off. Thankfully, these are locking tuners, so that could hardly be easier. I'm just going to detune it a little bit and then undo the lock on the back. You can't see me doing this, but I assure you it's about as simple as it gets. And I'm just going to keep turning it like this. See, this is what I'm talking about with the whole doing it live versus recording it thing. Because normally I would not run the camera this long while I do something as silly as taking strings off of a guitar. But here I am doing it, and trying not to lose your attention. So maybe I'll have to like sing songs or something to you to keep your attention while I do this part. I'm kidding. Almost done, I assure you. Alright, I hope everybody's had a good week. I had a good week. It is cold here. I'm on the far western side of Indiana. I think right now the wind chill is -15. I know that most of you watching, if you're anywhere else in the country besides maybe the deep south, it's colder than where it is here. But it is cold outside. Alright, so we got those off. Let me go ahead now and just pull the string out of the tuning head, which again you can't see, and I'm really sorry about that. But there it is, there's one. Alright, do the next one. Alright. I'm trying to look over and see if you guys are talking to me. So I'm sorry if I'm missing you, but I'm trying to look over there and see if anybody's saying anything. So I wish there was an option on YouTube Live. Hey, how's it going? Hope you're having a good one. I wish there was an option on YouTube Live to where I could make it to where like other people could turn on their cameras and microphones and stuff like in live. I know there's a way to do that, like with software, and then broadcast that to YouTube, but I don't know. I just kind of wish YouTube had that functionality built into it. I think it'd be a lot easier, because there's a lot of people that don't really understand how to use things like that, and I think it'd be really helpful if there was a way to do that easily and natively for people. Alright, I think I got it. Alright, all the strings are out. You can't see this, but I got to use these because there's a piece of string up here that it broke off up inside the tuner, so I gotta pull it and try and get it out this little piece up here without stabbing myself. You're not a guitarist if you haven't stabbed the hell out of yourself changing your strings at least once. In fact, I was playing earlier today. E string snapped off the guitar. Got me good. I haven't been got like that for a while. That happens. Hey, John. How's it going, man? Hope you're staying warm wherever you are. I can't remember if you're in a cold part of the country or not. All right. Got that string out of there just about. You can't see it, and I'm really sorry about that. Come on. Whatever. We'll get to that later. Okay, so we got all the strings off. I'm going to... I like to try to push them all down at the same time, because then it's a lot easier to just grab all 6 of them and pull them out at once, as opposed to trying to... Of course the E string is stuck in there. That always happens. Hate that. Well, I got a trick to get that out. I'm sure many of you know what that trick is, but come on. Okay, there's that, and that. Okay. So, there's a trick. If your E string gets stuck like that one is, what you can do, I'll get the strings that are off camera out of the way first. Okay. What you can do is you take this, take another string, and you can just push it down like this and try and jam it until it comes through. You're lucky, man. Where I am in western Indiana, it is about -10 to -15 degrees outside with the wind chill right now. All right, and there we go. You see that? It's through. Boom. There's your tip. If you learn nothing else from this, use another string and push it through if it gets stuck. Okay. Next order of business. I guess we should probably do the bridge first. I mean, there's really a bunch of different ways to skin this cat, but so I'm gonna flip it over. First thing I'm gonna do is pull the springs out. So there's 1, 2, and here comes number 3. Come on, there, 3. Okay, springs are out. Nothing else to do on this side. Flip it back over. Okay. Adjust the camera a little bit. All right, so next, you just take your screwdriver. I got this really nice screwdriver for Christmas. Check it out. I'm a craftsman. And this thing's cool because you can turn it like this. See how it turns? And then when you turn it the other way, it keeps going. It's like an infinite ratcheting screwdriver. It is so cool. Absolutely love this screwdriver. And I wish that I always had one. See that? Look how fast that is. Woo! I love that. I only did that to demonstrate it to you. Now I'm going to do it like normal. It's almost faster to just do it the old-fashioned way. And I've got the wrong size in here, so I'm going to get a different size. Let's see, probably this one. If you don't have one of these screwdrivers, you guys should go get one. They sell them at Lowe's. Used to be Sears, but now Sears has gone the way of the dinosaur. Craftsman is now, I think it's DeWalt. I think it's the same company as DeWalt. You can get it at Lowe's. They still come with a lifetime warranty, though. So, you know, even if you're going to say, oh, Craftsman is crap, it's not the same Craftsman it used to be. Well, it might not be, but it's still got a lifetime warranty. And that is something that you don't find with products these days. Not often, anyway. All right. Hey, guys, I want to appreciate you guys for just thank you for being here. I know this is boring, but it's fun to do this stuff with you guys watching. Makes it feel like I'm not sitting here alone in my basement doing this stuff. Puts a lot of pressure on me, too, to do it right. Thanks, John. I love this thing. Hey, I saw Digi a minute ago. Nice to see you, Digi. All right, so pull this out. This has been in this guitar since we installed it in this guitar together. The first big video I ever did was this guy right here, this Black Label Strat. And one of the things we did in that video was install this bridge. I've not been inside this pickguard or anything since we did that video either. Special stuff. Let's compare these real quick. I'm going to take the gold one. I want to show you something. So hold on. Got to get used to not having any cuts. Trying to fill the space. Okay. Check it out. So here's the two bridges side by side, okay? Both of these were purchased in the last 2 years, so neither of these are original to any guitar. I bought these separately. Okay, this one on the left is just your standard run-of-the-mill, made in Mexico, Fender bridge assembly, okay? You've got a, I think, what is it, a zinc block? Full block. Pretty cool. Then over here you've got the gold one, which is basically the exact same top plate and exact same saddles as the one on the left. Pretty much. The block that this one came with was one of those really skinny, like, Squier blocks. So I bought this Music Lily brass block. It is heavy. Noticeably heavier than the other one. And if you look at them side by side, they're pretty much the same depth. Pretty much the same thickness. One thing worth noting about this block, though, so with tremolos like this, your tremolo arm goes into the block. It doesn't go into the plate. The block has a little hole in it. So I want to show you something. So if I spin this, look at how loose this is in here. You see that? I'm going to spin it around. And it spins forever. Look at this. It just goes forever. Okay? Look at that. It's still going. So this is a Fender arm right here. This is an official Fender parts arm. This is not one of those cheapo ones. This is an official Fender parts block and an official Fender parts bridge assembly. And it just spins forever. It won't stay put. It's loose. And when you use it, it feels like the arm is bending in half. So I don't understand what the hell's going on with that. And that pisses me off. Now, if you take this one, this is the Music Lily brass block. Check it out. Stick it in there, spin it a few times, and look at that. It stopped. And look, do you see it wiggling? Just a tiny bit, but look at that. And look where it stops. I mean, that is one of the best upgrades you can do to a Strat style guitar. I don't care what kind of Strat you have. I don't care if it's an American Standard. I don't care if it's Mexican. I don't care if it's a Squier. I don't care what it is. This is one of the best mods you can do. Not the bridge, the block. Not just for the annoyance of the tremolo arm, but it adds balls to your sound. If you don't want to have balls in your sound and you want it to be mild with a little bit of reverb, sparkly or whatever, all it really does is enhance what you've got. I would say imagine it like it adds a tiny amount of tone to your tone. Not too much. And a different kind of sound than you would get by dialing the EQ on your amp or messing with the tone knob on your guitar. It is absolutely something that I think everybody should try to do. If you haven't tried this, you should definitely try it. Obviously, I can't add links to this right now because this is live. I will when this is over, but if you go over to the Stratocaster video that I made, there is a link to that exact block. If you're looking on Amazon, it's just a Music Lily brass block. Measure the block in your current guitar. You're going to want it in millimeters, end to end, so here to here. And you're also going to want to measure your cavity, the inside. So you're going to want to measure how deep it is from the top to the bottom. Because if you have like a Squier, you run the risk of getting a block like this that actually sticks out from underneath the bottom of the body. So you've got, you know, a chunk of metal sticking out. That wouldn't bother me personally, but I could understand if it bothered you. So make sure you get both of those measurements. And if you do buy one of these, just make sure you buy the one that's appropriate. Okay? Okay. That was a very long process to take off that bridge. It's very easy to do. It just takes a while to do anything. That's okay. We're doing it together, and it takes as long as it takes. If you have to go, I'm not going to be mad. I'm not going to track who left and who stayed. That's stupid. I don't care. Stay as long as you like. Next, we're going to go back to this bag of tricks here. So I bought this also on Amazon when I did the Stratocaster video because I wanted to have gold stuff to put in the guitar. So I've got in here some of these. These are bridge screws. If we compare it to the screws that came out of the guitar, it's about, man, that's not focusing at all, but it's almost exactly the same from the non-threaded part into the threaded part. It's pretty much exactly the same. It's the same thickness and everything. So for the sake of consistency here, I am going to go ahead and use these if they'll fit. They might not fit. And if they don't fit, I'm going to feel stupid. Oh, nope, they're good. They're good. All right. Now, before I screw that in all the way, I want to make sure I'm even looking at the right screw. I've done this before where I've done something like this and the screw was wrong. I did nearly do it wrong. See this? This is the one that's supposed to be for the bridge right here, but I don't have 6 of them. So, I'm not going to screw with it. No pun intended. Ha! I'm going to just use the ones that came out of the bridge. So these are the ones that it came with. So I'm going to stick that in there. There's a trick to this, and I don't think I've gone over it, but maybe once. So I'm going to go over it now because it's important. So the first thing I'm going to do is the 2 outer screws. As far as how far to put them in at this point, I'm not concerned about it. At this point, I'm just screwing it in until it's in there. Just so that I don't really at this point, so I don't lose the screws. So, okay. What I will say is if you screw it and the bridge raises, so watch the bridge when I screw this. See how it went up just now? If you did that, you went too far. Lay it back down. You want to tighten it until it goes up and then loosen it so that it goes back down and lays flat. Once you've done that, this is my trick of all tricks, and this has saved me so much grief with Strat style guitars and vintage tremolos, okay? Are you ready? Don't screw these screws in basically at all, okay? What do I mean by that? Screw them in like this. It's not focusing. There we go. Screw it in like this, you know, blah, blah, blah. Screw, 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 and then just stop. I'm going to move the camera so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, do you see? Now I'm going to move the screw up and down so that you can see it better. Let me get my screwdriver back out here. All right, so look, I'm going to take this screw out. All right, do you see how this screw right here, there's a little gap, right? Okay, so I'm going to screw it down. Watch the bridge. See how the bridge went up just now? Okay, we're going to take it back down till it lays just flat and then take it out a little more, okay? The next screw over, and this goes for all 4 inner screws, all 4 of them. I'm going to take the screw, I'm going to screw it, screw it, screw it, screw it, stop. I don't want there to be any pressure whatsoever on that plate. If you look at the other one, it's a little bit more extreme. In fact, it could probably go in a little bit more. That's good enough. And we might as well touch this one up while we're at it. There, it went up. Uh-oh, that's bad. So what do? Back it out. Boom. Okay. Why? Why are we doing that? Well, it's the way that these tremolo systems work. So when you use the trem, the other 2 screws aren't in here, but this will still serve the purpose it needs to serve. So the strings are pulling against this bridge, right? There are springs in the cavity that are pulling the bridge this way. I should say that way. Springs pull it this way, strings pull it this way. And so when you have your guitar all strung up, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either have it so that this is laying flat against the body. So that would mean you have a little bit more spring tension than you do string tension, or exactly the same amount. I would say a little bit more. Or you can have it elevated like this, you know, just a little bit. That's the other way you can do it. So, what does that have to do with these screws? Well, when you use the tremolo, you pull it down, right? Well, you want it to be in tune right now. So it's in tune, you bend it down and then back up, and you want it to go back up to where it was. In order for it to do that, the bridge has to return exactly to the point that it was at when you pushed it down in the first place, so that when you let go, it goes back to where it started. If you have a bunch of friction going on all over the guitar, it's not ever going to go back to where you started. So it's going to go sharp, or it's going to go flat, or you're going to have some kind of problem. So what I've found, of all the different methods that I've tried, the most surefire way to get that done is to let this float a little bit. I don't like doing that though, because if you do this, if you float it like this, and you bend a string, when you bend the string, it causes this to move down a little bit. And when it does that, all the other strings go out of tune. So let's say that you hit a low E and then you bend up in E minor or something. That E is going to go out of tune as you bend that string because you've changed the string tension, and it's going to make this move back and forth like this a little bit if it's floating. I don't like that. Some people do, and that's fine. No problem if you do, but that's why I don't do it. So I always try to add a little bit more tension so that this stays flat, so that when I'm doing those bends, it stays where it's at. These screws here in the middle are loose so that it doesn't catch on them. 2-point tremolos exist for a reason, right? The Floyd Rose has 2 points. A 2-point tremolo has 2 points. We're going to use this Floyd Rose as an example. This is not a real Floyd Rose. This is fake. But an example, there's only 2 points here. Well, where are the other 4? How's it going to stay in tune without the other 4 screws? Well, you don't need them. You've only got 2 points of contact. Like that, right? Same concept. If you're only tightening this one and this one down all the way, you've got these other 4 there in case something happens, like if this breaks and snaps off or something stupid happens. You've got these other 4 to catch it in that instance. Otherwise, they're really just there aesthetically. You could probably get away with not even having these 4 middle ones installed at all. But again, the reason I suggest doing it this way is so that you don't add an extra friction point to your tremolo bridge. Yes, we only use professional terms in this shop, I will tell you. Henceforth, the sound of a tremolo is keep going, keep going, keep going, boom. Okay. All right. So we got that in. I'm actually going to undo this because we don't need this right now. It's just going to be in the way. Whee! Okay. Let's flip her around. Oh boy. This is the best part of any tremolo installation. So after you've done that part, you get to put the springs in. This sucks. I hate doing this. I hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. I've heard from many, many people how to do this. Loosen the claw and then put the spring and then tighten the claw again is one of the things people tell me to do. I just like to grab the spring like this and pull it. This is where having the camera off when I'm making videos is helpful, because I can scream and say vile things as I'm doing this. See, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to use the method I just made fun of, aren't I? Well, that's okay. As easily as it comes out, it'll go back in. So I'm just going to loosen it a bit. The other challenge is not getting my arm in the way. That was my biggest complaint on my older videos was, dude, your arm's always in the way. Your hand's in the way. I can't see what you're doing. I never expected that I would be doing this still. Started this channel, now it's been 2 years ago? 3 years ago? That's absolutely nuts. Now I'm a father and I own a house and I'm in a band and have a monetized YouTube channel. It's crazy, guys. If you got dreams and stuff you want to do, no matter how small they are or how big they are, don't ever give up on them. I'm not making bank doing this, but I'm having a hell of a fun time with it. Uh-oh. When I let go of this, it's going to fly. Oh, shit. Ugh, I'm getting out of the way. Whoop! Oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That was stupid. That was stupid. Okay. I probably shouldn't have cared that much about what just happened, but I don't know. Once you've gotten smacked in the face by one of these things, you'll understand then. There we go. We did it, guys. I'm proud. Proud of us. All right. The worst part of this entire thing is now over. Now that we've done that, we can tighten it back. But Big Jake, you only put 2 springs. What the hell's your problem, man? Well, I'm gonna string this guitar up with 9s. I usually use 10s, but I've been using 9s recently. I've got an American Standard Telecaster that I'm in love with, and it has 9s on it. And I'm convinced that part of the reason I love that guitar so much is because it has 9s on it. So we're going to test that theory on my best Strat and see if having 9s on this guitar will be as fun and easy to play as the Tele with 9s. I'm going to have to reset the guitar up and stuff, but that's okay. It's all part of the hunt, you know? So, what does that have to do with 2 springs? Well, 9s don't pull as hard as 10s do. Since they don't pull as hard, I'm not going to put more springs than necessary. I'm just going to put 2. I can always add 1 later if I need it. So, there you go. Generally speaking, with this style of trem, if you're stringing with 9s, you can get away with 2 springs. Just tighten the claw a bit. You can always adjust it later. But Big Jake, you didn't make them straight. You angled them. What's your problem? Well, I'm sure that there's a scientific reason why people die on that hill. And they're probably right. I frankly don't give a damn. I always have done my springs this way, and maybe I'm just getting old and am set in my ways. But I will die on the hill of doing it this way. 1 in the middle, slide, slide. Now, I used to own like 7 or 8 Strats, and one of them I had a spring in every slot. It was kind of like a hardtail, and then I had the block completely blocked. And that sounded really cool, but, you know. Okay, that's done, guys. That's exciting. Okay, now, let us, I'm not going to put that in there yet. Now, we are going to take off the pick guard, the old pick guard. So, let me grab my trusty. Actually, no, we're going to do the jack. I need the other size now. Please stand by while I get the other size. Here we go. These bits on my new screwdriver are slightly rusted already. I had to work on my shower and bathtub the other day with my brand new screwdriver, and it got wet and I did not dry it off all the way. So don't get your tools wet and leave them wet. Or buy coated tools that are, you know, really nice. Then you don't have to worry about that. One time, I used to be a traveling technician for point of sale. So that was like cash registers, surveillance cameras, Wi-Fi adapters, ATM machines, pharmacy drive-through kiosks. That used to be my job. And one time, in the middle of a snowstorm, I went out to work on a pharmacy drop-off kiosk that was out in the middle of the snowstorm. Took my nice screwdriver set out there with me and got the whole thing disassembled, got it all fixed and ready to go. And when I went to put my tools away, I had left my screwdriver bits open, and it snowed inside the container, and they all rusted. It sucked. So, do not leave your tools, your nice tools, or your not nice tools, doesn't matter. Don't leave your tools out in the water, and don't let them stay wet. Make sure that you are drying them. Come on. I knew that this was going to happen. It can never be easy. Always has to be something stupid that happens when you're doing this. Well, use the tools for the job then. I got this thing. I don't know if this is going to work or not. Nope, it's not. Damn it. I had a wrench down here, but I don't know where the hell it is now. So, we're just going to try and do it this way again. I just need to turn it a little bit. So, if I can get it to turn a tiny fraction of a bit, I will be able to get it out. And if I can't, then I'm going to not do that part on camera. And it'll just magically be gold the next time you see me. Jeez, whoever put this in is an asshole. That would be me. Oh, I think it got wet. What was that thing I just said about things rusting? I'm pretty sure I played this guitar at a gig in the rain one time. That was not safe. Okay, well, screw it. It's just gonna have to stay like this for right now. Whatever. Okay, moving on. Where did I put that screwdriver? Story of my life. We're going to take this pick guard off. Now, I have a bunch of gold screws over here. And I think I have enough to change all of these to gold screws. So that'll be cool. This is another one of those parts where I regret to inform you that you're going to have to sit here and just watch me unscrew 11 screws. I'm really sorry about that. Whew. All right. Now, where I am right now, here in the basement, the furnace is right next to me. And it is hot as shit. That's what's funny for my workspace down here. When it's cold outside, I am hot as shit because the furnace is right there. When it's hot outside, I'm freezing because the cold air return is right there. So whatever climate control system is on to heat my house or cool my house is going to chill me or melt me. But I will say I'm very, very thankful for that. Because if I didn't have good climate control, then on this negative 10-degree night, I would be freezing. Okay, here we go. One more. Almost there. Almost there. Last one. Yeah, there we go. Oh, but we can't take it off yet because we got to take the knobs off. Whoop! There's one. And there's two. And then there's one more. Come on. Oh my God. There we go. Oh. Take the switch tip off. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Let's take off this. Oh man, I think this is a nightmare. I think. Could be wrong, but I feel like I remember it being a nightmare in here. Well, no, it's not bad. That soldering job is a nightmare. Whoever did that didn't know what the hell he was doing. Oh yeah, that was me. Okay. Got to do this carefully and in the right order. This is the part where I would stop the camera, go have a nice drink and wait a few minutes and come back. But I'm not doing that because you guys are watching. Okay. Damn it. Yeah, that guy does suck. He's fired. He's absolutely fired 2 years ago, me. That's pretty embarrassing. I hope it's so blurry that you can't see it, because that's bad. Hey, but you know what? That was one of the first times I soldered on this channel. First time was the Bullet Mustang video, which I still have that guitar. That guitar is special. It is a piece of crap and it does not play very well. Okay, it's not a piece of crap. It's actually a nice guitar. It just doesn't play super well because I didn't line up the bridge very well. That was stupid of me. Okay, let's stop lollygagging around here and let's do our job. So, let's flip this around like this. Alright, so if I am lucky, I can get these pots to all just drop straight down. Okay? So I've got this thing. This is pretty cool. This is part of a screwdriver. You can put the screwdriver attachment in it right here. But it also has these on the end. I use this all the time. You may have noticed if you are around here often, you may have noticed me using this quite a bit. Okay, there's one. Just about there. Okay, one. And I'm going to put these in order off camera over here. There's one. And then here's two. And then here's 3. Okay, and that one does have one of these little grippers. Here we go. Okay, this one had a washer. Okay. Got that off. It is a Music Nomad tool, yes. It's this one right here. Yep, right like that. And so it comes with this little thing, which I usually use this to pop knobs off, but really what this is for is getting acoustic guitar string pins, bridge pins out. It comes with this little thing right here. This snaps in to this screwdriver attachment like this, and then you've got all your little different ones down here. Removed, you've got that, and then you've also got, it's just a 1/2 inch, yeah, 1/2 inch right here. It's super handy. It's not anything a wrench couldn't do. I mean, obviously, there is a specialized tool for everything out there, and you should just have a good one of everything if you can. But it is handy to be doing something like this, and then you're like, oh shit, I need a socket. You gotta go hunt for your socket because you've got it right here. Pretty handy, handy dandy. I like it. You guys should get one. If you don't have one and you want to work on your own guitars, get one. Also, get one of these things. I'm gonna pick this up for a minute. Get one of these things. I used to use washcloths or like shop towels, and they worked, but I like having something to rest the neck on. It makes it easier. It makes you feel a little bit more confident too. I don't know how to explain it. It just makes you feel better about yourself. Push them down like that. Okay, that's good enough. All right, same thing for the switch. I'm gonna pull this down. I'm really sorry if I'm missing messages. I'm trying to like look over and then look down at what I'm doing and then look over and look down at what I'm doing. So I'm really sorry if I'm missing your messages. If you guys are talking to me about stuff and I'm just ignoring you, I am not ignoring you, I assure you. I'm just watching what I'm doing. In fact, I'm gonna look at my messages real quick. As long as it works. RRD, I'm not sure what you were referring to as long as it works, but you are right. That is the mantra of this channel, and it always has been. Do what you can with what you have. Okay, so those are all out. Now the pickups have to come out. This is gonna suck, this part, because please tell me that there's... No, it's springs. I hate pickup springs. I hate them. I hate them. You know, if you're installing Strat pickups in a guitar, okay, or any pickups in a guitar, do yourself a humongous favor and get yourself those little rubber pieces, okay? If you don't know what I'm talking about, Fender makes these little rubber pieces. They're about this big, and you put them between the pickup and the screw, and they're squishy, and when you tighten them, it does the job of adding resistance, and they don't fly the hell away from you when you take the screws out. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I think they're just called pickup spacers, maybe? Fender makes them, and they sell them on Amazon. Do yourself a favor and get those, and don't deal with the springs. The springs are awful. I hate them, I hate them, I hate them. Now, I might get lucky here, and these springs may be so old. I mean, because if they're original springs, these are 30 years old at this point. By the way, happy 30th birthday, Black Label Strat. This guitar was born in 1994, and now it's 2024. I'm sure it wasn't made in January of that year. It is number 19,000 something. So it's probably made toward the end of the year. All right, let's see if we can do this without things flying everywhere. Pickguard should just come off now. Oh, not quite. We're still attached down here. There's one's gone and gone. Oh, no, not yet. False alarm. Now it's gone. Yay! Alright, I'm going to get the springs and I'm going to set them aside so I don't lose them. I have to say, and if you've seen my Annihilator guitar, you already know this about me, but I love the look of a black Strat body with no pickguard. Look at that, looks cool. Now, obviously, oh, I lost a spring. See, I wasn't paying attention. Wasn't paying attention and I lost one, so I gotta find that. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. I saw where it landed. It's over here somewhere. Hold on. This is the danger of the springs. Oh, there it is. Yes. Oh, I can't tell you how many times I've lost stuff and just never found it again. And there's so many little screws and springs in the corners of this basement. Anyway, we did it. Pickguard is off. Let me get these springs off. Yes, sir. There we go. We're getting to the end. We're getting to the finish line. Okay. Out with the old. Now, this is a genuine Fender. It even says so. Now, I think this is older because they don't do this kind of stuff anymore. See that font? The font that says genuine on it? It's going to cause a rant. I'm going to warn you right now about this, and I'll try not to take too long. But what the hell is wrong with fonts today? Okay? Why has every company in the United States decided that we all need sans serif Arial for everything? Why? What happened to doing things like this, where it says 1994 in a serifed font? What happened to that? Why don't they do that anymore? Whatever happened to having this genuine? I mean, that's so cool. The tail's like a little guitar plug. They don't do that anymore. Instead, it's lemon oil fretboard conditioner, boring sans serif font. Gatorade Zero, sans serif font. Stainless steel strings, sans serif font. I mean, for God's sake, guys, what happened to design? It pisses me off. I mean, I grew up in the last generation that had stuff like that. Where we distinctly remember over-designed, gaudy graphics. And they were cool. They made you want to buy stuff. Remember the old Mountain Dew logos? Like, by old, I mean like 90s. Now it's MTN Dew. Sharp lines, sharp corners, jagged. Look at what they did to McDonald's. They used to have like the fancy looking restaurant buildings, right? They had like the clay looking roofs, and they had the big arches outside, and they had the very colorful play places inside. You go to a McDonald's now, and what is it? It's a square. It's a square, and most of them don't even have a play place anymore. And the inside, they tried to make it look like an upscale restaurant. Like, what the... Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. I am sick and tired of that. I'm sick and tired of it. And I want to have my interesting looking world back. Anyway, sorry for that. Seeing that just kind of set me off, because this is why I like older things. Oh, have you guys seen what Gibson is doing right now? I don't care. You know why? Because I wouldn't buy a new Gibson right now. Because everything that's made today, generally speaking, is not as good as it used to be. That's not just because of nostalgia, and that's not just because all the old people have convinced me that that's true. It's because now everything is made with a CNC machine. And now everything is made to be exactly the same. Clone, 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 copy, 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 paste, paste, paste. Cut every possible corner. Put a PCB board instead of 4 pots. Let's put all the PCB boards together onto a circuit board. And let's do all of this with computers, and then maybe have a guy screw it in. Whereas before, it was... Even this one. Even this 94 Squier series, which was a cheap guitar, they had a guy wiring this. Now, did it use CNC machines? Yes, it did. Not going to say that didn't exist back then. Although, as we discussed in the video on this guitar, the CNC machines were destroyed in the Ensenada fire, and this body was likely cut, at least in America, finished in Mexico, in all likelihood. But we're not going to get into that debate again. I'm going to get some very nasty and mean comments because people are very mad that anyone could have anything nice. They don't like my suggestion about these guitars. Anyway, I'm so sorry to have gone off on that rant and off on that tangent. So pickup covers. What do? You take the old one off and you stick the new one on. There you go. Yeah, you know what? While I'm doing this, because you can see what I'm doing, I don't need to explain this. What the hell is wrong with Gibson right now? I was so happy and proud of them for a little bit at first, okay? Because I was like, hey, you guys finally get it. People like your heritage. They like the things that you used to do. They like the way that you used to be. They like your original stuff. Good job, guys. So what do? They reissue the old amps, and they're charging like $2,000 for a 5-watt amp. Are you kidding me? Like, that's absolutely insane to me and insulting to us that they think that we're going to spend that kind of money for a 5-watt amp. Now, are 5-watt amps ever worth it? Sure. There are boutique amps out there that are just golden and sound great, and to some of you, it may be worth that kind of money, and that's fair. I'm not going to take that away from you, and I would agree with you that there are amps that are worth that. But not a brand new amp from Gibson. What the hell is wrong with them? They missed a huge opportunity here. All they did was embolden people who don't like them by doing that. That was the stupidest decision. When they announced the amp, I was so excited because I've wanted one of those for a long time, and I'm sure a lot of you have. Or maybe you used to have one back in the day. But they're kind of unattainable now. They're $800, $900, $1,000-ish if you can find one. And, you know, I saw they announced they were going to release it, and I was like, oh, here we go, let's go. I'm going to get one. I'm going to sell some of my amps and buy it. And then when I saw how much it was, I could not believe it. I was so disappointed that they did that. I could go buy an old one, an original one, for about the same or less than what they're charging for a new one. That is absolutely unacceptable to me, especially in an era where those amps are fighting with digital modelers. Digital modelers have gotten very good. I still prefer analog. I still prefer tubes every day of the week. That's me. But the modelers have gotten good, so they're competing with modelers. So what does Gibson decide to do to compete with modelers, with Marshall, and with Fender, and with Line 6, and everybody else? What do? Let's release 2 amps that are exorbitantly overpriced. Let the Fender fanboys laugh at us and give them a reason that's valid to laugh at us, and spit on all of the consumers who like us. That's just... I'm disappointed in Gibson right now. I mean, I've been on the Gibson bandwagon for a little bit now. I own a couple. Actually, I own three Gibsons. One of them I haven't shown on this channel. But I love Gibson. The old Gibson. I've got an 87, I have an 07, and I do have a 17. And the quality is in the order oldest to newest, believe it or not. Anyway, one last thing about Gibson. You know what? Let's just keep talking about them because they deserve to be talked about and not in the way they want to be talked about. One more thing about Gibson. If the rumors are to be believed, Gibson is discontinuing and phasing out the Tribute series. Well, who cares? The Tribute's not even a real Les Paul. The Tribute's not even a real SG. Who cares? You're wasting your breath even talking about it. You know why it matters? Because Gibson is trying to do something horrible to the guitar market, and they're going to succeed, I think. They're taking the Tributes away so that they can sell things like the Epiphone Kirk Hammett Greenie for $1,000. They've decided they're going to charge basically the same that they used to charge for an American basic model. They're going to charge that same amount for an import Epiphone. So now, if you go to the Gibson company Gibson brands, and you say, I've got $1,000 and I want to buy the best guitar I can buy from Gibson for $1,000, guess what? You won't be able to buy a Gibson for $1,000. You're going to have to buy an Epiphone. That is ridiculous to me. Now, it's a free market. I get it. They can do what they want to do. I understand. It's their right. It's their company. It's their brand. But come on, Gibson. Really? Really? Fender could never get away with that. Could you imagine if Fender got rid of their made in Mexico guitars? Instead, they decide... First of all, Mexican Strats should not cost $800 or whatever the hell they cost now. But could you imagine if they got rid of that line and instead started selling $800 Squier Strats, and the only Fender you could buy was an American Standard? Could you imagine if they did that? I can't. There's no way that anyone with a brain would make a decision like that. There's no way anyone with a brain would drop their pickup while they were trying to screw it into their pick guard either. But, I don't know, guys. I'm sorry for going on that rant, but that one hits because I was somebody who was turning into a Gibson apologist. I was planning on making a video about how guitar snobs need to shut up about Gibson. Like, and by guitar snobs, there's two different kinds of guitar snobs, right? There's the snob that says the only thing that's good enough is a Gibson through a JCM or a Plexi, and anybody who has a cheap guitar is a poor asshole. That's one type of guitar snob. The other type of guitar snob is, I got a Squier and it plays just as good as any American Fender, or I got an Epiphone and it plays just as good as any Gibson, and all Gibsons are overpriced garbage. You could just buy a Chinese guitar and upgrade it, and you'll never ever need to buy an American guitar because it's going to be just as good. Okay? Now, one of those things is more true than the other, but they are both wrong, in my opinion. I was going to make a video about the people who hate on Gibson all the time and be like, guys, listen, Gibsons are awesome. There's a reason they have the heritage they do. There's a reason they have the following they do. There's a reason that people love Gibsons. There's a reason people only will play Gibsons, like, because they're really, really good guitars. As it turns out, they used to be. Sure, you can go buy an R9 for $10,000 or whatever the hell they cost now to buy a fake aged Murphy's Lab, which, again, guys, why are people spending $10,000 so they can make their guitar look old when they could go buy an actual one that's old for the same or a little less? I just don't understand people. I think that I'm just getting old. I mean, I've always, like at my job, I've always been the youngest one at my job. In music, I was always the youngest guitarist around, you know? I was always the youngest. But here's the thing about me. I don't get along very well with younger people. I get along the best with older people. And I think they're starting to rub off on me. If I said half of the things I'm saying in this stream right now, like in my Facebook groups and stuff, they'd call me a boomer and make fun of me and say that I was stupid and blah, blah, blah. You don't know what you're talking about, man. And they would assume that I'm like 60-something years old. And, you know, maybe I used to think that that was an insult. But now, I think I'd be honored if somebody thought I was older. Older people who are watching this, I love you guys. All of my friends are older. All of them. My best friend right now is in his 70s. He's the one who owns the local music shop. He's one of the only people that I feel like I can talk to in this town, and I don't have to worry about what he thinks. I don't know. Now, if you guys are younger, that doesn't mean I hate you. If you're watching this, we've got something in common, right? If you're watching this, we got a good chance to be friends. If we had met in life, real life, we'd be friends probably. Because we've got this in common, right? I'm just saying as a general rule. Those of us who are in this world, this guitar world, we either love each other or we hate each other. And I just think it's funny how We can live and die and be so die-hard dedicated to this craft, but hate each other. But I get it. That's what drives innovation and good music. How many songs, albums, records, guitar inventions were driven by competition and the need to prove themselves, either as a company, as an artist, as a person? Yeah, you're right. If we disagree just a little bit on something, we hate each other. It's over. You're an old man asshole, and that's why nobody loves you. That's what people my age say to old people. I was raised to respect my elders. That doesn't mean I have to agree with everything they say, but it means I need to respect them. It's not that hard of a concept. A lot of that has to do with parenting. My generation was the generation of nobody wins and loses. Everyone gets a participation ribbon. Because if you win, that means someone else lost, and we can't have people that lose. Because if somebody loses, their feelings might get hurt. That's not fair. Come on. I got a 2-year-old. And you better believe she's going to learn that there's winners and there's losers. Because that's how life is. And it's not just because you have to go through it because I did, because I don't think that's a very good mindset either. But that's just the way it is. That's just the way it works in nature. That's not even a human construct, winning and losing. Do you think that out in the Sahara... No, not the Sahara. What am I trying to say? Out in Africa, do you think that the caribou that are being eaten by lions that lose, so they lost because they're being eaten, do you think that we need to have a fairness judge there to make sure that sometimes the caribou can win? No! The world doesn't work that way. Survival of the fittest. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, no tablets for her. No way. Me and my wife are in very firm agreement on that. No tablets, no cell phone. It's funny because the television that we do let her watch is always older stuff from like the 80s, 90s. A lot of that newer stuff is, I don't know. I don't really want to get into it, but a lot of the stuff that's on TV for kids now is teaching them stuff that's not appropriate for children. I'm just going to leave it at that. And you can take from that what you will, and you can stop watching now and say, oh, well, now I know the truth about that guy. He's an asshole. Go ahead. But, yeah, teaching our kids things that they don't need to know, that are not appropriate for children. All right, let's get this in here. I've not been narrating what I've been doing, by the way, because I thought it was kind of obvious. Like, oh, he's screwing in the pickups now. Okay, now he's screwing in the switch. Those of you who are still here are only watching now to see if I say something bad, probably. And I'm trying not to. I'm curious, you know, a lot of the YouTube channels that I watch, or some of them, they'll like say buzzword things to try to get the censors to not censor them. I'm curious to see if some of the things I've said today on this are going to negatively affect the channel. Like if it's going to throw some like censor that I've said some no-no phrase or something, you know? We'll see, I guess. Guys, we're almost done, and I'm so excited. I love you guys. Thank you for being here with me while I do this. This has made this job so much easier. I have guitar lessons tomorrow at the shop that I got this stuff from, and I'm kind of excited to take this in there when I teach, to show him, like, hey man, I didn't wait at all. It's done. I installed it. I did not say any of the jargon. You are correct, and I'm not going to. It's not necessary. If y'all are still here and you heard anything that I said, then you probably either agree with me or you're waiting for me to say something so you can report it. And, you know, thank you. Thank you. This is fun. You know, I've wanted to start like a podcast or something talking about stuff like this, but I haven't, because I have already kind of this persona of mine is not fake. This is how I really am in real life. This is how I am with my wife, my friends, my fans when I play. This is how I am all the time. But I've kind of built this presence on YouTube and elsewhere, and I don't want to mess it up. You know what I mean? I don't want to mess it up and start getting canceled, I guess is the word I'm trying to say. Does that make sense, guys? Like, does that sound stupid to you? I don't know. I don't want to start, I don't want it to be inappropriate, and then people are like, oh, I used to like that guy, but then he said X, Y, and Z, and, I think there's a time and a place for political discussions, and my role in the world right now is not to be a political commentator. My role in the world right now is to sit here with you at 1:30 in the morning or midnight 30 at night on a Friday night and work on a guitar. That's my calling at this moment. So I don't want to jeopardize any potential reach I might have with that by saying something that people don't like. I'd like us to all unite around music. And I want us to be able to disagree, I will save the political conversations for my personal friends. Or if you join the Discord, we can create a political channel with a warning that says, if you join this channel, beware. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. I'm kidding. Guys, I can't get this stupid thing off. And it's almost done. It's so close. It's so close. Oh my God, I'm so close to having this done. Sucks. I can't wait to finish this. I'm so ready to be done. Not because I'm done. Yeah. You are right. And you've got strong opinions about your amps, sir. And I like them. And that's the thing. Even if I disagree, or if other people disagree, that's fine. You don't grow if you don't listen to people that you don't agree with. Now, that doesn't mean you need to go tune in to whatever the leader of the opposition party is for yourself. But among friends, if somebody has something to say that you disagree with, you should listen. If they're coming from a place of knowledge and experience, then I think everybody... You have a valid opinion if you come from a place of knowledge and experience. You don't have a valid opinion if you spout out nonsense that isn't backed up with evidence. Oh, check it out, guys. It's starting to come together nicely. Oh, man, that looks so cool. It's like a different guitar. Woo, boy. We're not done, though. We still have to get this damn thing off. All right, let's see. John, I'm pretty sure we would get along. You have probably seen things in my videos, in my backgrounds, and the way that I say certain things. I believe we'd get along. Just from what I know about you, I'm pretty sure we would get along, and we probably think similarly about a lot of things. Okay, I'm off camera right now, back here, looking for something that will help me get this damn thing off. Oh, I just got a notification that the Pacers lost by 3 to the Blazers. That sucks. Okay, alright, I've got to find this damn thing. So, talk amongst yourselves, class, while I find this wrench. I've got a wrench set around here somewhere that has the right size in it. Just got to find it. So, I'm going to look for it here. My workbench is a complete mess. I'm very embarrassed about it, and I'm very sorry about that. I know if you guys watch my normal videos, you're going to notice in the video that came out last week and the video that's coming out this week that Oh man, this guy's got like a mental problem because of how messy his workbench is. I'm sorry. It's not acceptable. I take responsibility for it, and I will be better. I should not have to do what I'm doing right now to find these wrenches. That's pathetic. Totally pathetic. Well, there's some pliers. I might could use those. Oh, let me get them. All right. It is not... Well, here's the sad thing. It's not even organized chaos. It's just chaos. There's no redeeming factor. There's no, oh, it's a mess, but it's my mess, and I know where everything is. I actually don't know where the hell anything is. It's a complete mess. I found him! I found him! Part of it is because I'm flying by the seat of the pants all the time. By the seat of my pants all the time. This band takes all of my time over the weekends. I don't really have time to do anything else because I'm teaching lessons 3 or 4 days a week. And trying to be a good dad and a good husband and give all of them my time. That's why these live streams have kind of stopped lately. It's because I haven't had time. I've been getting ready for this big show that we had last Saturday. In that show, there were over 1,000 people there. Felt like 2,000. I don't know if it was 2,000 or not, but there were a ton of people there. So it took all my time to prep for that show. Found him, by the way. So, you know. And then that's over now. We were supposed to have a show tomorrow night. For those of you who watch those live streams, that show has been canceled. There will be no show tomorrow night, but I'm trying to put something together for tomorrow night for a live stream that will be fun and different. My good friend here in town, his name's Dave, he has a studio that I go to once a week in his home. He's got a music studio. And I think I'm going to try to do a live stream tomorrow from his studio with you guys. Me and Dave's been doing this kind of stuff forever. I mean, he used to play in bands in like the 80s and stuff. And now he's kind of settled down. He has his own studio. And really, I don't have the right size. Oh my god, this is awful. So I'm trying to do a thing with him where we can talk about guitars and we can talk about his career and stuff he's done and just news. Like, kind of like what we've been doing tonight, you know, where you've heard my random opinions about stuff. You know, I think his opinions are valuable because this dude's got some really cool stuff. He's got a really nice collection of amps, guitars, and gear and stuff, and his opinions are very interesting when it comes to the music industry. He's recorded a bunch of albums. I'm actually recording with him right now. Like, not at this very moment, but, you know, I go over there once a week. Me and him, we record. He plays the bass on some of my tracks, and I play the guitar on some of his tracks, and it's pretty informal, just fun little thing that we do. So I'm going to try to get him to do a stream with me tomorrow night. He's already agreed to do it, but I want to make sure he understands that I mean, like, we're going to be doing a live stream on the internet, and people are going to be watching us. So as long as he's cool with it, that's going to be the plan for tomorrow night. I told him sometime around 7 Eastern is kind of the target for when I want to start it. So if you're in the Discord, I will definitely let you guys know. If you don't hear anything, that means it's not on. If you want to know is it still on, just ask in the Discord and I'll confirm or deny if it's on. Oh my god, this almost isn't even worth it. I almost just want to cut this and just redo it. But I don't have a spare jack, so... God. Because it looks stupid like that, to have gold everything and then a silver jack. I don't know, what do you guys think? Needle nose pliers? Yeah, you're probably right. Thank you. I'm gonna go see where they... I think I know where they are. I'm gonna go grab them. Hold on. Okay, here's the deal. I don't want to carry you guys through my house. I can't see anything. Can you hear me? I'm gonna go get my needle nose pliers. Live on YouTube, walking up my stairs. Are you actually? Yeah. I left my pliers there. Alright, I got them in my hand, and we'll be back at the workbench in just a few seconds. Start from the darkness. I figured it made more sense to take you with me than it did to just leave you here. So, there we go, we're back. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Alright. Okay, let's try and get this out again. Got my needle nose. I used these when I was working on the bathroom the other day, as I had mentioned to you guys. I mean, it's jammed in there really good. I don't know how this happened. Because I don't think I could have tightened it this hard. I feel like I remember when I did the video for this that I was trying to get this off for some reason and I couldn't, so I just gave up. I can't remember. Oh man, I know there's so many of you watching right now and they're like, oh my god, I wish I could just grab it, I could get it. I bet you could. I bet you could. I'm gonna sit down and try and do it sitting down. The problem is there's like no good angle to get this from. So if I do it from this angle. Oh man, it's jammed. It is jammed in there so good. I think I'm seriously gonna have to give up. I'm not kidding. I think that this jack is permanently attached to this guitar. What I'm gonna have to do is get a new jack and snip the wires and just rewire it. It's a damn shame, guys. Wait, did it just give? No, it didn't. Man. Oh well. We tried our best. That's a bummer. It's a big old bummer. Oh, it goes like this. Alright, well, we tried. Yeah, it's seized up pretty bad. My liquid wrench is out in the garage. I have PB Blaster out there too. So I think we'll just do that another time. Or you'll just see that this magically has a gold jack in the future. It is going to bother me a lot that it doesn't match. But it's okay. Kind of makes me wish I had left the non-golden bridge on here, because then at least it would have matched, but that's okay. Alright, let's screw these in. Alright, after this, we're going to screw the pick guard in. Now, before we do that, I've just done a lot to this guitar, and I think we should plug it in and make sure that it works before we do anything else. Because then if we have a problem, I don't have to unscrew everything, right? So, highly recommend, if you work on a guitar, to check everything before you put everything back together. So, there we go. Turn it on. Amp is warming up. This is a tube amp, so it's not gonna come on right away. There we go. All right, it's on. I'm gonna turn it on now. I'm worried. Hey, listen to that. All right, we did it. I'm going to turn it off now. Oh, man, I know. I hate that. I hate that. I've done that too many times. That's why I said that just now. It is the worst. You get all done, and you get everything put back together, and then it doesn't work. Oh, then you got to take it off. You know what I did one time? One time I was working on a guitar, and I got everything. I put new pickups, new pots, new everything in this guitar. And I got everything back together. I put the pick guard back on the guitar. And when I screwed the pick guard on, I noticed it wasn't working. So I was like, what the hell? I took the pick guard off, and you know what I did? I screwed a screw through a pickup wire. There was a pickup wire that was like over one of the screw holes, and I screwed, and it screwed through. I was so upset with myself. Because this was back, you know, after you've been doing this for a while, making a mistake like that is frustrating, but not the end of the world. You're like, ah, shit, I gotta do it again. Oh, well, it'll be okay. But when you're first starting out, doing something like soldering pickups and new pots is a daunting task. It's very scary to think about. Because especially if it's just an upgrade and it works fine, your guitar works fine, it doesn't have any actual functional problems, you just want to upgrade it for, I don't know, make it sound better or something. And you're like, oh my God, I'm so afraid to snip this, because once I snip this, it's over. And I am committed. And I have to finish this. And then if it doesn't work, it's like, oh my God, I had a perfectly working guitar before, and now it doesn't work. That is the worst feeling. And then you wish you could just undo it. It sucks. I know how that feels. I've done it before. That kind of happened to me with the Stratocaster. I mean, I didn't regret it because it didn't work. I just kind of regret not leaving that guitar stock, because it was so fun knowing that it sounded so awesome being stock like that. Like, you expected it to be so bad, and it wasn't. It was actually really good. Yes, exactly. I've got, actually, it's sitting over here. Let me grab it. I bought this. So if I ever mess up, I can just rewire. I always use black for ground, white for hot. And then I try to use, you know, I just got soldering down appropriately, like not that long ago. I was always horrible at it, and I was always really afraid to do it on camera. And I actually did it on camera for a video I made last night, actually, confidently. For the first time, I was able to confidently do it on tape. So, you know, once you figure it out, it's there. It just clicks. Boom, you're ready to go. Just like a lot of things, you know, when it finally clicks, it clicks. All right, now I have to find my screwdriver. I have no idea where I put it. Had it in my hand a minute ago, and then there it is. There it is. Okay, let's tighten these down now. Yep, we do learn from our mistakes. We should. If we're doing it right, we learn from them. You have to learn from your mistakes. You don't learn from your mistakes, then you wasted a mistake. This channel is an example of that for me personally. I have made a lot of mistakes working on stuff for you guys. Like, I don't know how many of you saw, I keep talking about it, but that Stratocaster video, you know, when the control cavity, or the tremolo cavity, it didn't fit in there properly. Whoop! So I took like a screwdriver and I tried to chisel out the cavity by hitting it with a screwdriver, and I ended up breaking a chunk of it off, you know? Like, that's the kind of stupid stuff that you do. And then I learned from that mistake, like, don't do that. That's stupid. Don't try to chisel your trem block cavity with a screwdriver. Just don't do it. It's stupid. It's a very stupid thing to do. They all in there? One more. Oh, I should have mentioned while I was doing that, but I showed you this earlier, but there's also pickguard screws in here. So I missed one. There it is. Oh, come on, get in there. There we go. I mean, it's not exactly even, but that's okay. It's not going to catch any strings, so... All right, let's put the knobs on, and then this is done and ready to be strung up. I'm excited. I'm really excited, guys. So these use an Allen to tighten, so I got to find the right size for that. I think it's this one. Yeah, that is it. Okay. So I'm going to loosen it a little bit. Oh my God, this looks so stupid, but in a good way. I'm so excited. I'm so proud. I should have done this a long time ago. I'm glad I did this live. This was fun. Okay, come on. Almost there. It's kind of stupid the way you have to do this. There. Is it on there? Oh my God. Look at that. Oh man, it's comically big. That's okay. They don't make stuff like this anymore. I mean, they do, but not, you know, it's cool. All right, come on. Big metal pirate knobs. You can buy cheap knobs like this now. Like, I think Geiger. Man, by the way, so I talk about Geiger on this channel a lot when I buy upgrade parts, but they are killing it right now. They just released a whole bunch of new stuff this year, like in the last... Oh, that's cockeyed. I gotta do that over. In the last couple of months, they, like, released a new bridge... a Strat bridge. It's like it looks kind of like a PRS bridge. It looks like it's made really well. So I'm excited to see that. I'm probably going to buy one to put on a guitar. But they also made knobs. So they're making knobs now. I put some on my SG Special actually. And they're pretty nice, but they're metal, and I got one that has like a snake on it. Because I like snakes. But they're not like this. They don't have like the weight of these. These have a nice weight to them. And that's what I meant when I said they don't make stuff like this anymore. I mean, you can't just like go to a music shop and be like, yeah, I want some silly pirate knobs for my guitar. Like, you're not going to find them. You're just not. They don't make stuff like this anymore. It's not even. Frustrating. I keep doing it cockeyed. Let's try and loosen it a little, get it straight. Oh God. Come on. All right, let's try this one more time. The problem is I'm getting it on there, but then it's not staying straight. So when you turn it, it's like wobbling around, you know what I mean? I'm sure you guys have experienced it before. In fact, somebody that's watching right now asked about this in the Discord a little while ago. They were like, hey, when I install my knobs, they wobble around. Like, how do I prevent that? You know who you are. This happened in the past. You just have to hold it steady, I guess. There. It's not wobbling as much now. I don't know, guys. Not a big fan of how this is going right now, honestly. It's not going where I want it. I want it to be straight, and it's not straight. All right, let's put it right there. Don't move. Don't move. Don't move. Hold it right there. Whatever. It's going to have to just be cockeyed because I can't get it to stay straight. I just want to be done so I can take a step back and look at it, you know? Oh my God, this is frustrating. And I know you guys are watching and you're like, oh my God, this is like Peter Griffin trying to get the frog out of the window. I know it is. All right. I'm just going to leave that one. I'm not going to put that on yet. Last one. Then we can take a step back and look at it together. Okay. Oh, what the hell? It's like, I don't know how well you could see what just happened, but I put this on there and then it just like fell off. Like that. I think I didn't have it on there enough, and then I tried to turn it and it made it fall. I think that's what happened. So I'm going to make sure to hold on to it better this time. There. See what it's doing with that, the way it turns? So check it out. This one, they've got these little Allen things in the side, and they're supposed to just grip on here. Now I know you can get away with installing them on either split shaft or solid shaft posts. Like this one is a solid shaft. I know that they go on like that, but I know you can put them on both kinds. I'm gonna try a different approach. So I've got that screwdriver set that I showed you earlier, Music Nomad one, this one. There's a little one that I think will fit in there. I'm gonna try to use the screwdriver instead of the Allen and see if that does it. Okay, so I'm gonna move that over here, put this in there, like this. See how much easier it is. It's frustrating because it goes in, right? But then it's cockeyed. I mean, it's going to have to just stay like that. And this one is a mess. Look at how this one is up here. Let me move this up. This one is like up. Man, it's bad. This one's bad. I think that the shaft on this one is split is the problem. It's like leaning. It's like really bad. So I don't think there's anything I can do about this one. This one might just be hosed. I might have to get a different kind of knobs tomorrow from the shop. while I'm there all day because I'm teaching. Look at that. That's awful. Oh, it's bad. That looks so bad. All right, one last thing to try. I'm going to try to put it in where the things meet, like right here. Of course I can't because this other one is in the way. So let me take this one off. Okay, hold this right there. Well, that'll work. It's kind of hard to turn, but it'll work. Okay, then this one, I guess we'll do the same thing. I hate that I can't have them facing the same directions, but you can't always get what you want, can you? Okay, that one's on there. That one's on there. Okay. So I guess to make it line up, I'm going to move this one a little bit because I want them to all be facing the same direction. So there we go, like that. After this, we can take a look at it, see how it looks. Check it out, guys. All right, I'm gonna pull it back a little so we can take a gander at what we've done here. I mean, if you ask me, I think that looks pretty damn good. All right, cool. Well, let's string it up. I'm gonna see if I can flip this camera around because I want to sit down to do this part. All right, let me find my strings and then I'm gonna flip the camera around and then we'll play it a little after I get the strings on. Getting the strings. There's the strings. Okay. And then I need to get my lube. I need to get my winder here. And my lubricant, which is right here. And then I need to get my little applicator, which I don't know where the hell that went. So, okay, let me move this out of the way. Whoop. All right, let me find my applicator. I don't know where it is. Hello? Oh well. All right, I'm going to try to move this camera. Hello. All right. All right, bear with me a second. I need to actually flip this around, so. There we go. Okay. Okay. Put it down a little so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. Check it out, guys. Looks like a totally different guitar, doesn't it? That looks so cool. I wish that the switch was gold, but ooh, very, very nice. Let's string it up. All right, I'm gonna get my lube here. Does match my shirt, doesn't it? All right, got my lube. Now I had this little like Q-tip thing that I used to use on with my string lubricant, but I don't know where it is. I've lost it, so I guess I'm just gonna have to like, I have this tie. I'm just gonna use this. So what I do is I put a little bit on there, okay, and then my guitar, and I'm gonna put some of it on the saddle right here. There we go. I'm gonna do that to the next several saddles here. Oh, I put way too much. It just went everywhere. I've seen people say that using this lube is bad for your guitars because of some reason, I don't know. But ever since I've started using it, I've actually noticed my tuning stability is a lot better. So I can't really speak for everybody on this, but I know you can't see me, but I am putting some lube on the nuts. I'm lubing my nuts right now. And I did just clean this fingerboard like a week ago. I hate that I wasted a pack of strings, but I put new strings on it about a week ago before I decided to do all this. It's just like, it sits neglected in the corner, you know? And I feel bad that I never pick it up, but it's because I just don't like the way it looks, you know? And when you don't like the way a guitar looks, you're not likely to pick it up to play it as often. So I decided today that I was gonna fix that problem. So, all right, let me try and see if I can move this camera a little bit so you can see more of what I'm doing here. There we go. Okay, nice crotch shot, right? Let's go ahead and get this guitar strung up. So let's go with the 6th string first. Some people will tell you, you got to do the 1st and 2nd string first or you're gonna have a problem. Well, I don't have problems doing it this way, so I'm just gonna do it the way I've always done it. Rubbing pencil or using graphite nut works. Yes, I used a pencil for years, but then I bought this stuff. It's called Tune It. It's by Music Nomad. I like it better than the graphite only because it's easier to apply. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily like a better product, but it's easier to apply. Okay, so I'm gonna scoot over a little so you can see this better. So what I like to do with this is I like to leave, I grab it here, I pull it 1 fret down, 1 fret worth of string, okay, and hold it in place. And then I put my string through the tuner. Ignore that. These are locking tuners. Locking tuners, you pull as hard as you can tight, and then you tighten the tuner. Man, I forgot how easy locking tuners are. That's awesome. I totally forgot this guitar had locking tuners. So ignore what I said a minute ago. Okay, there's 1 string. We're just gonna keep going. Rapido. Okay, get this one next. Locking tuners are awesome. If you don't have locking tuners on your guitar, earlier, like over an hour ago, I said that like one of the best mods that you can do if you have a Strat style guitar is to get a nice block, like a brass block. The other thing that you can do is get locking tuners. It makes changing strings so ridiculously easy, and you will miss them. When you switch to a guitar that doesn't have them and you have to string it up, you will definitely miss them. We're almost done, and then once we are done, I'm gonna plug this into the amp, and we are going to play it a little bit and see what we think. So, we're almost there. I just can't get enough of how nice this looks. I mean, this looks awesome. I don't know about you guys. I was worried at first that it was going to look cheesy or something and that I wasn't going to like it, but I'm digging how it looks so far. I think it looks great. What do you guys think about me live streaming this sort of thing instead of making a normal 15-minute video with edits and stuff? Do you like this better, or should I do both? Should I take this video that we are doing right now and should I cut it and make it like a normal video with edits? And then post it separately, or should I do them like this? What do you guys think? Just curious what you guys think about this. Well, that's okay. You don't have to answer me right now. We can talk about it later. Okay. I have no idea how much battery I have left on my phone either. I'm using my phone to stream this right now. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. Go. Almost done stringing. I will tell you that these locking tuners make it so much easier. They are Spurzl locking tuners. I get lots of comments on my video about this guitar where I didn't know what Spurzl tuners were and I called them special tuners because I didn't know what Spurzl was. So, sorry guys. Sorry that I didn't know everything. I feel like I've grown a lot as a musician and as a guitarist and with doing this kind of stuff in the last couple of years. I mean, when I started this channel, I owned 3 or 4 guitars. If that. And now I own like 40. And almost all of them I have done stuff to. So, I'm proud of that. A lot of the guitars I've gotten in that time are your fault, all of you watching. Because I'll see something and be like, oh, I want to make a video about that. I hate it when that happens. It wasn't in the block good enough, and it... Alright, I think we are strung. Let's put in our trem arm. This is going to require a bit because it's not just tuning. I'm going to have to adjust the height of the saddles too. So hopefully you guys are good for a few more minutes because I'm going to have to do that now. For tuning, I'm just going to get it close and then I'm going to adjust the height. And then after that, we can tune it properly and actually plug it in. So, I'm gonna say that's E right there. I'm gonna move this now again. Let me see if I can do this the way I want to. There we go. Oh, there's still a piece of string stuck up here in the E string. So I gotta get that out. Hold on. Sorry. Bear with me a moment. There's a piece of string that's actually stuck up there. Hold on. I thought I got it all out, but I didn't. There was another piece up there still. I'm getting it now. There. That's why it was slipping. All right. Oh, come on. When I work on stuff like this for too long, my hands don't want to work anymore. It sucks. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir out there. Go. All right, we just about got it tuned. It's pretty out of tune, but whatever. It's close enough. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop these down a bit. It's pretty random how low I'll go with this. I just kind of eyeball what I think looks right. And then once I've done that, I check and make sure that I can still bend the strings. And as long as I can still bend the strings without them choking out, then I'm fine. That's my scientific way of checking height, string height. So I lower it, I tune it to pitch, then I bend. Hear how it's choking? That means that I've gone too low. So we're gonna raise it a little bit. That. There we go. That's acceptable. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to now kind of follow the radius of the strings. So now that I've got the high E string height set, I can just make sure to set the B string a little higher. That's kind of how I do it. There we go. That one's fine. Now we're going to do the G string. Same thing. We're going to lower it quite a bit until it's just above the B string. Okay. Okay, now we're going to do the D string. I know this is very hard for you to watch, but I figure we've gone this far, we might as well go all the way, right? So now that I've gotten most of the way there, I'm going to go a little bit faster. I can already tell you that I'm probably going to need to back the trem claw out a little bit. These are a little too low. I'm going to raise them a little. Then we will try out the trem, see if we need to adjust that claw. Yeah, so this is really hard to move, which means it's too tight. So I'm going to grab my screwdriver and I'm going to back out this claw a bit. But I'm going to have to get a different size thing. Try this one. Okay. I'm not sure how far out to do this, so I'm just going to do it like that much. Let's see if that's... So a good way to check this, when you're checking your claw position, this is going to be really hard to show you on camera, but what you do is you bend the string, okay? And if the bridge moves up, this moves up and down, off the body, it means that there's not enough tension back there. If it doesn't move at all, you might have a little too much. So watch the bridge. It does not move. So that means that we can back it out a little bit more. Why would you want to do that? Well, the further backed out it is and the fewer springs you have, the easier it is to use the trem. First thing to check, visually, is there a gap? No. Second thing, does it move when you bend it? Let's see. Still no. I'm shocked that it's still not moving. So, back it out a little more. Every few turns that you do this is just going to make the trem easier to use. This is with 9s, by the way. Look how far out we are. Alright, let's try that again. It's not moving still. So I'm just going to keep going. So if you guys watched my video about my Firebird, then you know that it survived the fire. This guitar survived a flood. This one was in my basement when it flooded. I don't know if you guys remember that, but my basement flooded not too long ago. And this guitar was sitting next to the water heater that flooded, and it survived, luckily. It got pretty screwed up though. On the bottom, it got black crap all over it, and it rusted a little bit on the bottom strap button, but you know, it happens. It's still not moving, guys. I can't believe it, but that's got to be good enough, though, right? I'm gonna do a little bit more. I wonder if part of the reason is because of how heavy the block is or something. I don't know. Can't figure it out. Okay, that might do it right there. Still no. I'm completely shocked, guys. This is insane. I mean, look at this. It's still not moving. I can go out even more. I have never experienced this in my life. Never, ever, ever have I experienced. This is a good thing, by the way. I'm not complaining. Okay, look, it's still flush on the body. It doesn't look like it, but that's a reflection. Okay, let's bend it. It's not moving. I mean, what the hell? This is ridiculous. I've never seen this in my life. I'm leaving it where it is. I can't do anymore. I really can't. All right, let's move our operations. I'm gonna set, let me move this camera a little bit here. All right, I'm gonna turn this around. Whoop. I will be sitting in that chair in a minute. All right, get my pick. All right, I'm coming over there. I got my foot switch here from my amp. Let's plug it in. Turn it on. Okay, it's on. Let's put it on a nice clean setting first, okay? Whoa, don't fall and die. There we go. All right, moment of truth. Well, actually, we should probably tune the guitar first, right? So, let's tune it. How do I tune it? I don't remember. I have this foot switch. You can't see it, but the foot switch for this amp is down here. And I don't remember how to tune it. Oh, I remember. You hit the volume pedal. There we go. There's something I forgot. We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to it in a minute, guys. But I'm tuning. Okay, it's tuned. Okay, I need my screwdriver because there's something we forgot to do. Pickup height. I need to adjust it, so what I do is I hold down the last fret and then I just kind of eyeball it. I'm gonna do that with all the pickups here, make sure that they're relatively even. Again, I don't do things very scientifically around here. I just eyeball it, and then I do it until it looks close, and then I match both sides. Almost there. I think that's about even. All right, let's see. Let's see how we did. You ready? Man, I was working on that guitar for so long that like playing is gonna be interesting. Let's do this. The wall was on. I was like, why does it sound so bad? There we go. Oh man, you know, seeing it, because I have it on selfie mode, seeing it, oh, it looks so cool. It looks so cool. Oh man, I feel like I can play it so much better just because I can see it. Let's check and make sure that all the different volumes are good between all the different pickups. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. That looks like a custom shop, doesn't it? It's not a custom shop. But look at that! Oh my god! I love it. I love it, I love it. I feel like I got a new guitar today. That's how it feels. It feels like I got a new guitar today. Alright, let's put it in this setting I made last night. I have no idea how this is going to sound. I don't know how well that's coming through for you guys, that sound. Man, that's good, that's good. We're back in business. This guitar is awesome. Let's see how well or badly it is in tune at this moment. Again, tuning. All right, listen. There is proof that my method with the trem works, okay? Because these are brand new strings. I made sure that the tension was about the same from the springs to the string tension. And you can do whatever the hell you want with this trem and it's staying in tune. Listen. It's in tune. Okay? Now, let's do something really stupid and see if it stays in tune. Okay, let's see if it's still in tune. Very close. Okay, now it's in tune. Let's do the same thing, but let's do a lot with the trem. So here it is in tune. Now obviously you would never play like that for real, but that was just to see, because I'm never gonna lay the trem like that when I'm playing it for real. So is it still in tune? It is. Still in tune. It is. This is a official Fender product. This bridge, you can buy it on Amazon. It's literally 20 bucks, I think. And it is an official Fender. It is a Fender plate with Fender saddles. The weird thing is it comes with a tiny tremolo block. So I just bought the Music Lily one, as you can see. There you go. I don't know what you guys think, but I'm super excited and impressed because I think it sounds good. So I can play this all day. Man, I'm so excited. All right, one last thing before we go. I want to plug in my American Telly now and see how it compares. I'm going to go get that. It's sitting right here. Oh, this is my favorite guitar. I love this guitar. This guitar is amazing right here. This is my favorite and best guitar. This is my pride and joy. See, I gotta say, I already know this is gonna be better than that Strat. It just feels, oh, it just feels better. I mean, sorry Strat, but there's no contest. I'm gonna put this on the bridge. I don't know. It's not even close, okay? Not even. I said earlier that Black Label is the best playing Strat I own. It absolutely is. But this thing, I don't have anything that comes close to this Telly. Like nothing. I have a Gibson Les Paul, Gibson Firebird Zero, Gibson SG. I've got this HM. Let me grab it and show you. This is an HM right here, HM Strat. This is an original 89. This one's made in USA. It doesn't play as nice. This Telly, it's crazy. I was never a Telly guy, and the only Telly I'd ever owned was my Bullet. And I went into the music store and was like, I think I want a Telly. And I was thinking like Mexican. And the guy he pulled this one down and he's like, here you go. Found you a Telly. And yeah, he got me. This thing is amazing. Like, there's no contest, okay? And I don't think it's so much that it's a Telly, it's just that it's made so well. So well. That's what you get when you buy American stuff. Is, yes, you're paying a lot, and the law of diminishing returns definitely rears its head with this conversation, because it's like, well, how much better is it? You can get an American Telly for like, I don't know, $850, $900 used, maybe less. But a new Mexican one costs $7 something. Do yourself a favor, skip the Mexican one. This is an 04. The frets are completely gone down here for the most part. But like, I don't have any other guitar that sounds or feels like this one. contest at all. It's not even close. And you can play any kind of music with this one, with this guitar. You wouldn't think. Things you don't think you could pull off with the Tele, you can pull off with this one. Single coil, stock single coil. It's crazy, guys. Totally nuts. Clean and set up 72 Tele Custom. Ooh, 8,000. Yeah, those 70s ones have gotten up in price. What's crazy is usually people don't like the 70s ones. They think the 70s ones were bad, like that was a bad era for Fender, and people don't like those usually. But all of a sudden, they're worth a ton of money. All right, now that I've enjoyed this one, I'm gonna go get the black label again. And we're gonna do some final things with it. Namely, we're gonna cut off the string ends here. Because I'm now satisfied with everything. I'm probably gonna have to retune. Sometimes cutting the ends off throws the guitar out of tune. It's weird. There we go. Now it's official. Tune it up real quick. Okay, I think part of the problem might be that the pickups weren't close enough to the strings. I've had that happen before, so I'm gonna raise it a little bit more. No, you're raising it too much. You're raising it too much. You're going to ruin the sound. The magnets are going to pull your strings out of tune. I don't think so. I've never experienced that in my life. Maybe I'm stupid. A stupid young guy doesn't know anything, but... Alright. Let's try what we just did with the Telly, but we're going to try it with the Strat now. I want to see. How much of a difference is it going to make? What do you guys think? Is it going to make a big difference or not between the Telly and this? We're down on the bridge. Let's go. Let's try that again. Out of tune. I don't know. I think the bass strings actually sounded better than the Telly, but the high strings sound bad. They're very ice picky. But I don't generally like the sound of a Strat bridge pickup anyway. It's just me. Well, I think this guitar is a success, guys. Feels like I got a new guitar. It really does. Uh-oh. What have I done? Uh-oh. I don't know what I did. There we go. Here we go. agree. I think this guitar's got an amazing sound that none of my other Strats can do. They just can't. They can't do this. Here, let me... It's got a great sound, man. No, it's something I wrote. I'm actually working on it right now with my friends. I mentioned him earlier in this stream, but he owns a studio. And me and him and one of my good friends, who actually works at the music shop where I got all this stuff, or get everything really, we're recording that song right now. It doesn't really have a name, but right now I'm calling it Dreams. It has words and stuff too. It's almost impossible to write an original song now, because all of the ideas have been taken by other people already, because, you know, recorded music has existed for 100 years, so it's hard to come up with anything original. So, you know, I came up with that and I'm like, oh, this is awesome, but like, I'm sure somebody else has already done this. But if I do it my own kind of way, with my own words that I wrote and my own music that I feel that I wrote, then it's my song. So I am gonna look that up because I want to hear it. But yeah, that will be coming out relatively soon. We're still working on finishing that. I'm trying to put together some sort of an EP or something with my original music, if you guys are interested in that. I know a lot of times, like, guitar YouTube people, they do like reviews and they do like mods and stuff like I do. And then they're like, oh guys, I released my album, go to Spotify and listen to my album. And you're like, okay dude, but I just see you as a YouTuber. So I'm gonna try not to be like that and try to plug myself too hard like that. I know that we're all here together for a reason, and that reason is guitar stuff. It's not really so much about me or my music. It's about our music and the stuff that we do together. By the way, this guitar has been on this whole time. My volume knob is still up. I mean, my furnace is over there, so I'm sure you hear that, but I'm just kind of shocked it's not feeding back or doing anything. You guys like the way the guitar sounds? You like the way the guitar looks after all that we did to it? I mean, I think Fender, if they sold this guitar made in Mexico, how much do you think they would sell this for? I think they would sell it for $900. You think I'm joking? But the 70th anniversary Fender Strat is out right now, okay? It's a Mexican Strat, and it costs, I'm not kidding, I think it costs $1,000. It's a Mexican Strat for $1,000. It's black, and it has like a fancy pickguard. Look! I mean, why would anybody do that? Why would you do that? Go buy a used Mexican Strat of any year. You can go to guitarcenter.com right now. I'm not even going to check. I'm so confident in this. Go to guitarcenter.com right now and look up a Fender Stratocaster, and I guarantee you, you will find a Mexican Stratocaster pre-owned on there for less than $450. I'm sure you will. And I'm sure you'll find a black one. And you can buy a pickguard, maybe not this exact one, because this was like that 1994 custom shop, but you could buy one like this on Amazon for like 20 bucks. And then you've just saved $500! What is wrong with the guitar industry right now? Seriously, between Gibson discontinuing the cheap Gibsons to make expensive Epiphones, and Fender charging $1,000 for a Mexican Strat, they have lost their mind. Thanks, Will. I think it looks like a totally new guitar, honestly. I think it looks better than the 70th anniversary one, which I liked the look of a whole lot. And if I didn't already have so many Strats, I would have wanted that one. But the principle of the thing, I can't pay $1,000 for a Mexican Strat. Are you kidding me? If it was real 24 karat gold everything, I wouldn't want it for $1,000. That's stupid for Mexican. You can buy an American Strat for that. But I think it sounds good. Punches above its weight. Keep in mind, this was a cheaper one. I mean, this was the Squier series. So, you know, we already discussed this guitar, and I don't want to get into a big argument with anybody tonight. We know what the rumors are and what I believe to be true based on my research. And honestly, it's been a couple years since I made that video. More evidence that supports my claims has come out since then, in various places, you know. So, now, if evidence came out that disproved me, I would definitely come out and say that I was wrong. But so far, there's no reason to make another video and say, by the way, I was right all along. There's no reason. But if I was wrong, absolutely I should make a video about it. But anyway, as we've discussed about this Black Label Squier Series Strat, the bodies and the neck blanks originated in America, okay? That's a fact. Fender has gone on record saying this multiple times. Multiple representatives from Fender have come out and said that multiple times. Does that mean this is an American Strat? Hell no, it does not. Because I have played many American guitars and I own a few. This is not American. It's not an American Strat. Okay, I'm going to say that right now. Were the blanks, like the body-shaped pieces of wood and the neck-shaped pieces of wood, did those come from America? Yeah, they did. I mean, that's what Fender has said multiple times over the years regarding that Ensenada fire. Were they finished in Mexico? Yeah. Were they using cheap import Asian switches and stuff? Yeah. And they were assembled in Mexico. So, and I said this a couple years ago in the end of that video, that just like all legends, some of it is true and some of it isn't true. So, when we hear this guitar and how it sounds, how the neck feels and stuff like that, you know, it's really hard to place where it really belongs in the hierarchy, because it's much better than a Squier. We can already kind of put it above that. But where do you put it between a Mexican Strat and an American Strat? Because in so many ways, it's worse than a Mexican Strat. But in so many ways, it's better than a Mexican Strat. It's crazy. And John, you're right. The thing is, and I said this earlier too, things are not made today as well as they were made in the past. Let's just say that's true, because I think it is, okay? If we work under that assumption, a used guitar is going to cost about 50% of what its new counterpart would cost today. If we're talking used, I don't mean you bought it in 2021. I mean like it's from the 90s. It's probably going to cost about half as what a new one would cost today. If older guitars were better, and they cost half as much as new guitars, then what's the incentive to buy a new guitar? Like, I get it on a certain level, right? Like a new car. You know, every mile that went... This amp behind me, this 5150 right here, is the first new amp that I bought since I was a kid. Because I was tired of my tube amps blowing up on stage. And I said, screw it, I'm just going to buy a new one and pay the premium. And I'll know every mile that goes on those tubes, and I know it's probably not going to blow up. So I understand that mindset of buying new. But with a guitar, it doesn't seem like it matters as much. I mean, what wears out on a guitar? Just start at the basics. What wears out on a guitar? The nut can wear out over time. I guess the tuners could wear out. That's unlikely. If they were good to begin with, you're probably never going to need to replace them. The fret wire will wear out over time. Okay, so there's that. And the pots can go bad. That's it. So yeah, okay, the fret wire, that's a major issue, I will admit. If you go look at a used guitar and the fret wire needs to be replaced, that's a major issue, because the average person cannot fix that on their own. That's not as simple as buying a pack of frets online and just smacking them in there. I mean, you gotta know what you're doing, or you gotta find a guy to hire to do it for you. But everything else can be mitigated. So I don't understand, unless your primary concern is, I wanna have stainless steel brand new frets, if that's your only reason for buying a new guitar, valid, understand. But everything else, I'm not so sure. If you have a lot of money and you know you're loaded and you can afford to just buy a new guitar and not worry about it, okay. But I would still say that it's not as good as a used one or as an older one. I mean, this right here, I got two perfect examples of this. By the way, I'm raising this up because I'm tired of ducking. It's hurting my back. Up we go. That's better. Okay, I got perfect example of this. Two examples. Number one I'm holding. Up until very recently, these Squier series black label guitars were like $100, $200. And then the word got out because some asshole made a video that got like 20,000 views and ruined it. And then other bigger channels than his made videos about them. And then people got really angry and defensive about what they were claiming in these videos. And then it made these guitars worth more money. So I'm not going to claim that I did this, but I think I might have had a little bit of something to do with it. Anyway, example number one, right here. Okay? Other than the weirdo market that we're in right now, this would otherwise be a very cheap guitar that costs 25 to 30% the cost of a brand new Mexican Fender. Okay? Case number two. It's in pieces and it's not done. I took pieces out of it to put into this one. Stratocaster. Stock, this guitar was better than any new Mexican Strat that I have played in the last 5 years. So, that Stratocaster, once again though, those used to be like $70. And then all of a sudden, they went up and they're like $250 now. Again, I'm not going to be that guy that's like, it's all because of me. I'm the market mover. I did it myself. I'm not blaming it on me. I'm not saying I did that. I'm not saying to take credit for that. But when I made that video, another big YouTuber that I know of, he made a video about it too. And then they blew up in price. So again, case in point number two, $80 right there. That's a tenth of the price of a brand new Mexican. Plays just as good. And then, last one. This is my 2002 Squier Affinity Strat. This is my favorite guitar. If I had to be buried with a guitar, it would be this one. Because this was my first guitar. Dad bought this for me in 2002 when I wanted to learn to play the guitar, and I still have it. Thank goodness I still have it. I'm so thankful. This plays as well as any Mexican Fender that I've ever played. Okay? That's not just nostalgia and my personal feelings and whatever getting involved. It's true. I've become a little bit of a snob about guitars recently, where I demand the best. The best for recording because of how it sounds, the best for performing because of how it looks on stage, and the best for just comfort. How comfortable is it to play? How inspired am I to play it? So everything's working against cheap guitars for me right now in my life, because I've got 3 Gibsons, I've got 2 American Fenders, and they spoiled me. I've gotten used to that quality of instrument. So for me to say that a Squier series, a Stratocaster, and a Affinity are as good as a new Mexican Fender, I'm not saying that I'm an expert and you need to listen to everything I say and take it as biblical truth or anything. But I have a reason to believe that American stuff and Mexican stuff and more expensive stuff is better. And it generally is. But with Fender, I can't give them that endorsement. I just can't. Not with the new ones. With the American ones, the older ones, yes, I will give them that endorsement. The older Mexican ones, yes, I'll give them that endorsement. I want you to keep in mind that I'm specifically referring to brand new 2023, 2024, even 2022 models. When they made the switch from Rosewood to Faro or Laurel, that is when all of the QC went in the shitter, in my opinion. Not just the ones that had those fingerboards, but like, they were like, oh no, we need to innovate. Oh no, COVID. Everyone wants to buy a guitar. Oh no, the Mayor Pete caused all the trains and all the boats to get locked up, so now we can't get products into the United States. What's the solution? Let's increase the cost of guitars by 15% to the consumer. Let's cut corners. Let's both make them cheaper and sell them for more. And those stupid idiot people will buy them all. They were wrong, by the way. It was funny because the end of last year, end of this year, Fender has this massive overstock of guitars. They screwed up bad by making those assumptions. The budget's kings can be found out there. They really can. I'm going to put this down for a second. The budget kings can be found out there for sure. Why is my light shaking? I don't know. It's just, you know, it's hard. These brands unintentionally have made their cheaper offerings better by comparison to their more expensive offerings. I'm not sure that they're making the cheaper guitars any better than they ever did. Case in point, this 2002 Affinity, this 94 Squier series. You know, it's not, I don't think that anything cheap today is better. So, example. Oh, it's stuck. I can't show you. Kramer Beretta Special. John mentioned it a second ago. Is the Kramer Beretta Special any better than a cheaper offering from back in the day? No. In fact, I would say it's worse than a cheaper offering. Here's an example that I can grab without breaking anything, I think. This is the Kramer Striker 100 ST, okay? These were made in China, 90s-ish, okay? This was like the cheapo Kramer back then. It wasn't, like they had like Strat copies and Strat clones and stuff, but like, this was like the entry-level, wannabe Beretta, you know, cheapo. Could you see Gibson releasing this today as the cheapo version of the Kramer? No way! They can't turn on a CNC machine and have some Chinese person making 30 cents an hour make this fast enough for them to sell for $200. That's where the Beretta Special is today. The Beretta Special is a great guitar. I really like it. As far as brand new name brand guitars are concerned, it is number one. It is the best. It is the winner. Hands down. But again, this proves my point from earlier. This was the cheapo Kramer. Chinese. Made in China, right? This particular one that I'm holding is made in Korea. It's just, I could go on about this forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. Made in Korea. Oh, that means it's a good one. Made in Korea is great. No. Back in the 80s, Korea was China. Japan was China. The stuff that was made in Asia, period, meant that it wasn't made in America. Why did they do this? Because it was the cheapest possible place to build stuff. Now, the cheapest place to build stuff is like China, Taiwan, Philippines is another place, Vietnam, Indonesia. Those places are cheap to build stuff in. So if you're looking at two guitars in the guitar shop and you're like, oh, that one's made in China, that one's made in Korea, that's a good one. Again, proving my point. It wasn't made any better because it was made in this amazing, immaculate Korean factory. In fact, I bet the skill of the laborer and the conditions for that laborer were way worse in the 80s in Korea or Japan than it is today in China. The reason that you think the Korean one is good is because they made stuff better back then. Period. Why are those Sears catalog guitars selling for $500 now? Those of you who are old enough, I'm not going to claim I know, but from talking to you guys, I'm sure you guys are like, what the hell is a K electric guitar doing selling for $600? Because you remember when that was you wish you could have a Fender or a Gibson, but you had to have the one from the catalog because it was the cheapest one. It was what all your parents could afford to get you, or all you could afford to buy with your allowance or your money that you made from your job. Why is it so expensive now? Even the cheapest, bottom of the barrel, Dan Electro is another example. That company was created to make the cheapest possible guitar to the consumer. Those are selling for more than entry-level stuff now. Exactly. That's exactly the brand I'm thinking of. Why is this all happening? Because things were made better back then. Gibson and Fender should be ashamed of themselves for the crap that they're making today. Their cheap stuff is not any better than it used to be. Now, some of the Squier stuff is, but it's not though, okay? Classic Vibe owners, you'll agree with me when I say Classic Vibes are pretty much as good as Mexican Fenders. You know why? It's not because Squiers got better. It's because they changed the headstock. Remember earlier when I said, could you imagine if they stopped making made-in-Mexico guitars and made only Squiers in China, and then the cheapest Fender you could buy was $1,000? Guess what? They did do that. The Classic Vibe Squiers are filling the void of what Mexican Fenders used to be. I remember when I was growing up, Mexican Fender was, I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure it was about $399 for a Mexican Fender back then. A Classic Vibe Fender today is selling for like $500. So they're making the same guitar. The CNC machine is being run in Asia instead of being run in Mexico. They're selling it as a Squier instead of a Fender, even though for all intents and purposes it is a Fender, but they don't want to damage their brand that way. It's just pathetic, guys. What do I recommend for you to do? I don't know how this video turned into this though either. This video was supposed to be about the Black Label. What do I recommend you to do? Well, you probably already know. Stop buying new guitars. Don't do it. If you're going to buy a brand new guitar, buy something that is universally liked and make sure that you can't find anything used that you like better. For example, Kramer Baretta Special. Great. Go ahead and get it if you need to have a brand new guitar for some reason. If having a new guitar is a big, big deal to you and you must buy a new cheap guitar, Kramer Baretta Special is one. West Creek Revenge is the other. It's sitting over here. I made a video about that. It looks like an Ibanez Destroyer. Tease Guitars is another. The owner of that company and I have a pretty good relationship. We made some videos on those. Those are good too. You get great service with those. And the thing is, he's not pretending that they're anything that they're not. That's what a lot of these big brands are doing. So that's my recommendation. Buy used. If you gotta buy new, then you gotta get one of those that I mentioned. Yeah, no, you're right. The brand name they're acting like they're fashion houses or something, and they're not. The thing is that they used to be, they're well known and well liked because they made such great stuff. Then they stopped one day. They're just like, screw them. Screw those people. We're gonna just make crappy guitars. Oh man, did you pick up a Bullet when those were new? Some of you may have, and you're like, oh, they were great, I liked it. You were in the minority. I believe they exist. You know why? Because the quality control was so awful in both directions. They didn't check to make sure they were good, which means that they could have been really good and got away from the factory to you. Bullet's unacceptably bad. The Affinities from like the early to mid 2000s, even like up till like 2010-ish, were great guitars. No problem. Then they just got terrible. They got terrible. Epiphone Speaking of Gibson, I don't know, I have mixed feelings about Epiphone. Because while Epiphone now is different than Epiphone used to be, Epiphone makes great guitars now. Because they're Gibsons made in Asia. They're not really Epiphones. You could argue that they were always just Gibsons made in Asia, but Gibson is charging you, I mean, how much is that Kirk Hammett Greenie Epiphone? It's like $1,000. You can buy a Chibson Greenie for $200. How much do you want to bet that the Kirk Hammett Greenie is a Chibson that says Epiphone on it? Quality-wise. Maybe the pickups are a little better. That's it! I bet you the Chibsons are coming from that very factory. It's ridiculous. I'm not advocating you go out and buy a Chibson. I think that's unethical. For you to say that you have a Gibson on the headstock, but it's not a Gibson. It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. I think they're worried because they can't come up with new ideas fast enough, yeah. And they don't need to. If Gibson just made the 59 Les Paul every single year, but every year they changed something small, like, this year we're making a purple one. This year we're going to have titanium hardware. This year we're going to have an optional deal with Floyd Rose. We're going to put an FRX on it. If they did something like that every year, they'd be fine. They wouldn't need to do anything. But instead, they're making like 8 of the same guitar. How is somebody who's not, like, studied all of this supposed to understand the difference between a Gibson Les Paul Tribute, a Gibson Les Paul Special, a Gibson Les Paul Studio, a Gibson Les Paul Traditional, a Gibson Les Paul Deluxe, a Gibson Les Paul Standard, a Gibson Les Paul Studio, a Gibson Les Paul Future? I could go on and on and on and on. What is wrong with them? Fender's doing the same thing. They've got the modern player, and they've got the modern, and then they've got the contemporary, and then they've got the American, and the American Performer, and the Vintera, and the Vintera 2, and the Vintera 3, and the American Lux. What are you doing? They all look the same, and they all feel relatively the same. Oh, but there's just a little bit enough different to put you in that next level. Well, I'm already paying $200 more. What's the next level have? Oh, it's only about $100 more. What's the next level have? Oh, it's only about 50 more. And the next thing you know, instead of spending $1,000, you're spending $2,500. Gaming does this too. World of Warcraft is an example. I can proudly say I've not bought that new expansion. It's the first one I haven't bought since the game came out. They do the same thing. You can buy the expansion for $40. You can buy the deluxe edition for $60. It includes a month of game time. Oh, so it's only $5 more than buying a month of game time that I'd buy anyway. What's the next one? Oh, it's $80. It includes a mount and a costume and a toy box item. Well, I'm already spending $15, $20 more. I might as well spend $15, $20 more. That's how they get you. So, all right, I'm gonna look through these comments. I'm sorry, I kind of got carried away. Vintage 6-point or modern 2-point. I just saw that message. Are you asking about the guitar that Will's talking about, or are you asking which tremolo do I like better? I'm gonna put this guitar down. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, they are called Sonics now. They're good. They're better than Bullets, for sure. The only Bullet I liked was the Mustang, which I still have. It's right here. This is the one that started it all, right here. This is the one that started it all. Great neck. I'm actually gonna plug it in. I haven't played it in forever. Tune it real quick. This guitar is bad. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's buzzing horribly. It's bad, guys. I need to take this whole bridge off and start over. Let me know. Would you guys be interested in that if I made a video where we went back to the very beginning and we fixed the Bullet Mustang. Because this Bigsby thing is not doing the trick. The bridge is wrong on it, and it'd also be a good opportunity to just like talk about mistakes that were made and how to avoid them. This is the first guitar I ever modded. Alright. Options on buying a Fender today, vintage or modern. That sounds good. I will answer your question if that's what you're asking. And if you're not, stop me. Vintage or modern tremolos, I like the 2-point tremolo a lot more. A lot more, and it's not even close. I don't like the 6 saddle. If you watched earlier, like 2 hours ago, I can't believe I've been doing this for 3 hours. The stream's been going for 3 hours. I said that I like to set up my 6-screw tremolos with only 2 screws, and then the 4 inner screws are raised up so that they're not really contacting the bridge. I think and feel that the 2-point tremolo stays in tune better and is easier to use. So if I had to buy, if I had a gun held to my head and I had to buy a new Fender Strat, I would buy one with a 2-point trem. And if I had a gun held to my head and I was required to pick a brand new Strat to buy, it would probably be the 70th anniversary. Only because I could probably sell it for more down the road. Because I think that one has the 2-point trim. 2-point, I feel like it's easier to use and it stays in tune better. And I don't know. Now, if I didn't own one already, let's say you don't own a Strat. Yeah, Will, I couldn't get my mind to stay in tune for anything. And after I figured that out, my life changed. I couldn't gig my Strats because of that. They would go so wildly out of tune. But after doing that and using it like a 2-point, perfect. You heard it. We wailed on it and played it very badly, but we wailed on it and it stayed in tune. Okay, so here we go. This is our good old boy Squier Bullet Mustang. In my opinion, the best bullet. This sounds way the hell better than it should. If you are the pawn shop type or the type that like buys used guitars, I get a wild hair at my ass every couple of months and I go to Guitar Center used and sort it lowest to highest. I do that a lot. If you don't have one of these, get one. You can get them for like $100. Squier Bullet Mustang. This thing is amazing. It's so good that I want to buy another one and mod it mod it properly. I could fix this one, but I think it would be more fun to have like 2 single coils to mod. Anyway, Bullet Mustang. If you don't have one, go get one immediately. Alright, let me see. I just saw a video. What you were saying with the options. If you wanted to buy a category of the names of Fender guitars. Are you saying like Telecaster versus Stratocaster versus whatever? Is that what you mean? Like what country of origin, make and model? Is that what you're saying? Uh-oh. The tiers. Oh, you mean like earlier when I was saying like where do you place the Squier series, because there's like all the different tiers. There's like Squier, and then there's Mexican, and then there's American, and all that stuff. Is that what you mean? Yeah, so are you saying like of those categories, like which category is the best one? Okay, so if we're talking about brand new, it's so hard for me to make a suggestion because they're all so exorbitantly overpriced that brand new, it's so hard to make a suggestion. Ian, if you could clarify what you're asking, I'll definitely answer it. I just want to make sure that before I get started on some... Yeah, John, you were saying. Now, John, this one has a hardtail bridge. So it doesn't, this one doesn't, but like it came with one. If you buy a Bullet Mustang today, it's going to come with a hardtail bridge, so you have no trim. It'll feel very familiar to you. This guitar sounds so much better than it should, guys. The wiring's messed up because some asshole didn't know what he was doing. John, the scale length of a Bullet Mustang is 24 inches, which is my favorite. 24 inches is perfect because it's not so short that it feels like it's hard to play, but it's short enough that you can cheat a little. It's really easy to play. It makes you say, why is this so easy to play? Because it kind of fools you with its scale length. Okay, Ian, I want to answer your question. So, first I want to answer with what I can answer with confidently, which is used. In the used market, I would say the best Fender that you can buy is American. Pound for pound. That American Telecaster that I played a little bit ago blows every other guitar I have away. Smokes them. The only things that come close are a couple of my Gibsons. It smokes everything. Like, emphatically. I have not played a Mexican Fender that feels as good or sounds as good as that one. That one, I said it that way on purpose. I could be lucky, and I could just have a gem of a specimen. But I've played other American Fenders at my local shop. What's cool about that place is they've got really old stuff, vintage stuff, and newer stuff too. And they all play a lot better than Mexican. Now, as far as for the average person, you know, just for anybody, because I'm not going to tell all of you, like my followers or people on YouTube in a video, I'm not going to be like, we're going to make a list of what guitar you should buy. I'm not going to say, my suggestion is to go spend $1,200 on an American Fender. That's stupid. If you're going to spend that kind of money on a guitar, then you've already been doing your research. Now, maybe some of that research is opinions from people like me. In my opinion, is it worth $1,200 for American Fender? Yeah, but only if it's an older one, and only if you can comfortably afford it. Don't put yourself in debt to do this. Is it worth that much? Yes, it is that nice. But if we want to talk about the suggestion and recommendation, everybody, it's right here. Man, I keep trying to like show you stuff and it keeps getting stuck. Here we go. Here it is. Mexican. Older Mexican is the winner. I would have said Squier series, but those are no longer easily affordable by most people. This is a 2006. This was the second guitar that I got. And, you know, man, this wood is shrinking. Anyway, this is 2006. This was the second guitar I ever got. It was an upgrade for me because I had the Squier and I wanted a real Fender. You can get these all day long for $350-ish. And I said that earlier. That's why buying a new one for $1,000 doesn't make any sense to me. Unless you just have a lot of money, it doesn't matter to you. Yep. That is exactly right. And further, to add on to that, find the thing that is missing some of the things that you can do yourself. And there you go. I think the number one question you need to ask yourself over everything else out of the picture, ask yourself one question before you even start looking for a guitar. Does what's on the headstock matter to me? I used to be the kind of guy who'd be like, doesn't matter what's on the headstock, who cares? That's silly though. I think that it does matter. In general, it does matter. You know what it is. Unless you're lying and saying that it's a Gibson when it's not or something. That's a whole nother issue. But does it matter to you? If it doesn't matter to you, great, more power to you. That's totally fine. I don't judge you for that. If it does matter to you, I understand because it matters to me. And if it matters to you what's on the headstock, then I'm going to tell you that all Squiers are out. Period. Okay? All of them. Every single Squier is out if it matters to you what's on the headstock. Perfect example is this guitar right here. Okay? Now this guitar was given to me by a good friend. This is a Squier vintage modified or classic vibe Mustang. Okay? This guitar plays unbelievably well and sounds unbelievably good. But because it is a Squier, I know it's a Squier. You know? Would I expect my friend or anybody to buy me a Fender Mustang? Hell no. Absolutely not. Inappropriate and unacceptable, okay? Do I love this guitar? Yes. Do I pick this guitar up all the time? Yes. Have I gigged this guitar? Yes. But I know it's not a Fender. And maybe that's snobbish of me, but it does matter. There's a certain amount of pride to having a Gibson SG in your hands. It just like infuses you with power when you're playing it. And you're like, yeah, and you look at it, you see Gibson in your face, and you're just like, yes, this is my Gibson SG. Mine. There's power there. It gives you that inspiration, that little spark to do something amazing. If you look at it and it says Epiphone, Can it still be a great sounding and playing, looking and feeling guitar? Hell yeah. One of my best playing guitars is an Epiphone, sitting right in front of me. My other best playing guitar is an Epiphone, sitting over here. But it doesn't give you that little spark, that little piece of heritage that you own. You don't really get that with a Epiphone or a Squier. Sonically, can you tell? Not really. The responsiveness can be felt and heard, though. For example, if you were to compare like a 700T or something versus a 57 Classic, you could tell. I played the biggest show of my life last weekend with the trash guitar. I like that guitar. It inspires me to play. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that like cheap guitars are crap and that you shouldn't get them. I'm just going to tell you that if it matters to you, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you an elitist to say, I prefer to have real Fenders. No, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not slamming the person who can only get a Squier. It isn't. I started on a Squier. I made great music with a Squier. I've recorded a lot with this Squier. I love this guitar. This guitar is special. It's everything I would want in a Mustang. But because it's a Squier, it leaves me wanting a Fender. So if you're in the market and you're going to buy one guitar, Fender guitar, and it matters to you what it says on the headstock, do yourself a favor, just get a Fender. Just get a Fender. You can get a Mexican Fender, whatever it is, for about the same price as a Classic 5 or Vintage Modified Squier. At that point, there's no reason to get the Squier. There really isn't. Just do yourself a favor, skip step 1 and 2, and go to step 3. If you have the money, if you have saved up a lot of money, or if you're selling a bunch of stuff, or if it's a gift or something, and your parents have a lot of money or whatever, money doesn't really matter as much. Get an American. You won't regret it. Make sure it's older. Don't get a newer one. So, there you go. With Gibson, that's harder. But I would say with Gibson, get an older Gibson. An older SG Special is a perfect example of the intersection of all of this stuff. And we did a video on that. The older ones from like the 80s, you can get them for less than $1,000, and they are way better than any Epiphone that I've played. Having a piece of that heritage is cool. But if that doesn't matter to you and you do not care at all, just get an Epiphone. But I'm going to throw you a curveball. If you get an Epiphone, get a newer Epiphone. Gibson stepped up their quality control considerably in the last 3 years or so because they've been posturing Epiphone to take over as the cheap Gibson brand. Cheap Gibson guitar. I should say affordable Gibson guitar, because cheap implies bad. Affordable Gibson. So instead of the Tribute, you would be buying the Epiphone Standard 60s or whatever. So Epiphone, newer. If you don't care that it says Gibson on the headstock, you don't care that it was made in the USA, you don't care if your money's going to Chinese workers or to American workers, Epiphone would be fine. If you don't own very many guitars, I would say it makes more sense to buy an Epiphone SG and an Epiphone Les Paul instead of a Gibson SG. If you own a lot of guitars already, like I did, I was busting at the seams with guitars. I still am. How many guitars have I pulled out on this stream? I've made the decision for myself that moving forward, I'm going to try to only get, nicer guitars. Not nicer guitars. That's not nice to the more affordable guitars that I have. I'm only going to add to my collection if it's an upgrade over something I already have, I think. I'm thankful and blessed to be surrounded by so many guitars. Thankful and blessed to be doing this right now. There has been a dozen of you watching this whole time, and getting to sit here in my cave surrounded by my guitars, getting to pull them out and talk to you guys about them is really, really special for me, and I really appreciate it. Well, before we wrap it up, I want to get the Squier series back out, because that's what this was all about, right? And just look at it again, because Yeah. If you can get a deal on one of these, this is your answer. This is the Fender you buy. If you can get one at a reasonable price, this is the one right here. Because it's got a really cool story. I think the black Fender logo looks better than the other logos. That's just me. It's got a cool story. You can piss off guitar snobs and elitists when you tell them, I've got an American Fender. Make them really mad if that's your cup of tea. And it's a limitless modification possibility. Now, I'm going to tell you guys about something, and if somebody buys it, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. I'm going to be very mad at you. But on Reverb right now, there is a 94 Black Label Squier Series Telecaster that I want so bad because it's made the same year as this one with the same story and the same everything. And it's black also. The guy's asking way too much. He's asking like $600 for it. And it's beat to hell. Like, there's big, giant chunks. It looks like somebody took a chisel to it and just went crazy and tried to kill it or something. So I messaged him. I was like, hey, it's in horrible condition, and it's not a Fender. It's a Squier. And I'm trying to work him, but he won't budge. But if you can find one at a reasonable price, get it. It's so fun. As long as the neck feels good, everything else can be crap. Just replace it. I mean, everything that we did today. Now, bless that music shop. I love those guys. I didn't have to buy any of that stuff. But if I did, it only would have been about $40 for everything that we did today. And I think that did more than $40 worth of appearance. Don't fall into the trap, though, of thinking that you're going to get your money back when you sell it by doing that. If it's aesthetic, really, if it's anything, you could put a Seymour Duncan Invader in here, and it might make the value go down. So don't expect to get money back on upgrades. But if it's a keeper like this one, I'm not getting rid of this guitar. Okay. Unless one of my guitar heroes wanted it, I give it to him. I will say, because I understand and feel that anything you can contribute to music is worth doing. It's like if Steve Vai called and was like, I'm looking for a 94 Fender Strat, I would line up to try to make that happen for him. Outside of that, I don't care. So I'm going to put the money, which I didn't have to because I'm very lucky. I am in there like 5 days a week, though. You know that bookseller in Beauty and the Beast that Belle goes to see, and he gives her the book because she goes in there so often? That's the relationship I have with my music shop. I'm in there 5 days a week. So I went in there to buy that pickguard. He's like, nope, here you go. I got a whole pack of stuff for you. Here's this and this and this and this and this. So not to get free stuff, but please support your local businesses. They work harder than anybody. They understand. They get us. They get the economy we live in. And it's good to have friends. They're good friends. Anyway, I saw a message that says, did you want the red telly thin line of that? Thanks, John. I appreciate it. John, I'm remastering that live stream because it was a disaster, okay? I didn't say candidly what was wrong in the after show because I was sitting in the venue still and the sound guy was like in there. He didn't turn my guitar on. He didn't turn my mic on. He had the drummer's mains. The drummer wasn't in the mains. Keep in mind, this is a 2,500 seat venue. Drummer was not in the mains. My vocals weren't in the mains. His vocals weren't in the mains. The other guitarist was turned up really loud. The bass was turned up really loud. The bassist's mic was turned up really loud. So that show was a nightmare, catastrophe, disaster. We were all exasperated by the end of that show because it was so disappointing. I worked on Detroit Rock City for like 300 hours to get ready for that show, and nobody heard it. It was very hard to deal with. I'm still having trouble dealing with it. So, John, with the power of AI, I've been able to take the audio from that show and pull the guitar out, the drum out, the vocals out, and I'm able to remix it and remaster it myself. So I'm in the middle of doing that right now, and when that's done, I'm going to post it on the channel. because it needs to be heard, I think. I think that we worked way too hard for that guy to ruin it for us, so I'm not going to let him ruin it. Let's see here. Telly Black Label Red Thin Line. I didn't even know they made that. They made a 94 Squier Series Red Thin Line Telly. I thought it was just like standards. That's pretty cool. I'd have to see it. Some of the thin lines I don't like. Some of them have like this really weird looking pick guard. Oh man, dude, don't get me started. Now, I will give my local shop credit. I'm just going to say, it's called Music Shop. I'm just going to call it Music Shop because that's what it's called. I'm going to give Music Shop credit because even with the bad quality control, the horrendous and unacceptably bad quality control of Squier, they set up every single guitar that comes in there. They'll literally open a box of Sonics or Bullets, they'll take it back to the shop, and the guy that works in the shop will level all the frets, and he will make sure it's intonated, and he will check the entire guitar before they put it out on the floor to sell it to somebody. So if they find one that's that bad, they send it back to Fender and make them send him a good one. But yeah, so that being said, I've played their setup once, and I know they did as good as they could do, better than I could do. And they were not good. The Affinities, they're just not great. Now, if you're sitting at home and you're like, but that's the guitar I have. I'm not saying it's a bad guitar, like, if it was the only guitar I had, I wouldn't be able to play it. I'm comparing it to how they used to make them. You know? It's like anything else. That's like me saying, oh yeah, I had a Coca-Cola the other day, and it was awful. The Coca-Cola from when I was a kid was so much better because it had real sugar in it. That doesn't mean that you should feel awful because you're drinking artificial sweetener Coke. It's just a fact. I'm comparing it to the old Coke. Same thing with guitars. When I say that it's a bad guitar, I'm not saying like it's awful, it's horrible, haha, you can only have a cheap, crappy guitar. No. I'm saying that like compared to how they used to make them, they're not nearly as good. You shouldn't have to set up a guitar like that, especially if it's for a beginner. Squiers are marketed toward beginners. Beginners aren't going to know how to level frets and set intonation and set string height and truss rod adjustments and stuff. Your target audience for these guitars isn't capable of using them. If it takes somebody like me to fix it for somebody like that, I have students that come in with their guitars. They come in weekly, never played a guitar before. And the first thing I do for their first lesson is I say, can you give me your guitar? I want to see it. Because I'm checking that. Are the fret ends so sharp that it's going to injure them? Does the pickup selector switch even work? Is there horrible feedback? Are the pots okay? Because if they're not, honestly, I would fix it for them for free. Because I think that everybody should have a chance in music, especially with the guitar. I would hate for some kid to give up the guitar because of their guitar. If they're going to give it up because they don't like to practice or they just don't like it, that's whatever. But if it's because of their guitar, that's a shame. We shouldn't let that kind of thing happen. We shouldn't. What did I miss here? John, I don't have the soundboard recording. I'm trying to get it, but it's not going to do me any good because if it wasn't in the mains, it wasn't on the board either. That's my understanding. I could use AI to fix it, but I shouldn't have to do that, you know? Yeah, I didn't know that they had a F-hole thin line Squier series. That's cool. I'm gonna have to look that up. Some of them had pick guards I didn't like. They swoop down really weird and like they look ugly, but I don't know if that one has that problem or not. I'd have to look at it and see. This knob is loose. I'm trying to tighten it. Alright, well let's play for a minute and then I'll be done. HM Telecaster, yeah. Oh yeah, that one's on my list. I want the HM Telecaster. It's actually called an HMT. Colloquially referred to as an HM Telecaster, but HMT, clown burst with the F-hole and the weird slanted neck pickup. I really want one of those. It has a Kaler Spider tremolo too. I'd like to remark how easy it is to use this trim. You saw me trying to set it up if you were here a few minutes ago, where I kept backing it out. Look at this. Look how far back that is. And that's only 2 springs. And it's amazing. Like, it's so easy. Oh, by the way, it's still in tune. Turn this up a little bit because it sounds really good. Amazing. Punches above its weight, and it finally looks the part. It shouldn't sound this good. It really shouldn't. inside you. Ooh, that smell. Can't you smell that smell? Ooh, that smell. Smell that surrounds you. I love this guitar, and I love you guys. I want to thank you very much for being here. Almost 4 hours. This is fun. I think I'm going to do it like this from now on, seriously, when I do these, because I felt like you saw it happen in real time. We got to talk about all kinds of fun stuff, you know? Well, that's it. I want to thank you guys again for watching. If you're not subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you did. If you don't, that's fine. Not a big deal. I'm here to entertain you. I'm here to hang out with you guys. I enjoy this. I enjoy sitting here. You know, this is very different. Normally, I would sit here and sing, and we'd have a guitar here, and then we'd do backing tracks, and I'd sit here and just talk to you. But this time, I wanted to do something of substance. I wanted to do a quick, easy mod, and I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to play around, and, you know, some of you I know, and I see you a lot. Some of you, this is the first time, and I'm so happy for all of you being here. So I've got to teach lessons in, what time is it even? My first lesson is in 9 hours, 9.5 hours. So I should probably get going. I've got to chapter the video and make a thumbnail for the video that's going up tomorrow too. The video's done. It's about the Epiphone Firebird. It's the last video in that series. This video is a review of the guitar. So the first video was a sob story and a sappy thing about how I got it back. The second video was about restoring it and getting it back into working order. And the third video is a review of the guitar as it is now. So that's what's coming out tomorrow, or I should say today, in about 7 hours and 50 minutes. That's what's coming out. So I'm going to make that thumbnail, and I'm going to, yeah, get that up, get that chaptered before I go to bed. So, yeah, Ian, rock on. I want you to stay warm. It's very cold in Indiana. John, enjoy the 40 to 50 degrees because we would love to have 40 to 50 degrees right now. But we'll be getting that in a few days here. So, you guys have a good night. Thank you again so much. It means a lot to me. Join the Discord if you want to keep talking. I'm probably going to be in there after this while I work on this video. So, thanks again. I will see you next time. Keep on rocking. Thanks, Will. Hey, if you have questions about doing stuff like that, send messages in Discord. I'll help you out. Or leave comments on videos. Find a random video and say, hey, I have a question about something. I'll help you, all right? Thanks, guys. See you next time. I'm going to try to live stream tomorrow with Dave, if I can. If not, then I'll see you in a couple of weeks. We don't have a show next Saturday. We have a show the Saturday after. Our next show isn't until the first Saturday in February. So I'm going to try to do some of these to keep it rolling. So, all right. See you guys. Good night.